tearful faith and little lies. As best she could, she begged the skies for a dad and a mom, a forever home, a world away down on their knees. Jesus, give us eyes to see. If you were leading us to this, then you will make a way for us. Now she's here.
Hi Holly, hi Debbie, hi Denny, hi Kim, hi Rebecca, hi Teresa, hi Amanda, hi Kelly, hi Melissa, hi Shannon, Brenda, hi Misty, hi Braxton Strong, hey Ashley, hi Tammy and Karen, Amanda, hi Austin, hi Kim, Tammy,
with her husband thanks the skies, a dad and a mom,
hi Brenda, hi Bonnie, Teresa, hi Kim Wilt, hi baby doll Stacy, hi Rose, how you doing Rick? Hi Ashley, hi Island, hi Rhonda, hi Lisa, hi Amanda, up, hi Melissa. A lot of you guys that's been following me for a while, I always play a song and show my daughter's photographs. I do this to support my daughter, but also to give people time to get on my live feed. Hi Ginger, hi Luann, hey Steve, hi Cindy, I see you Austin, hi Patricia, Sean, hi Sarah, baby. What's up, Rob? They need to clean our damn roads, man. Got a lot of ice out there on our streets. I'm doing fine, Cindy. Alright everybody, how y'all doing tonight? Hi Kayla. Just to let you guys know what's going on tonight. There's a lot of people that's new to this tonight. I've seen them on here tonight watching my live feed, and I've seen these people that sent me friends requests today and stuff. The main thing I'm going over with tonight is, like I said, this is about my little girl. Who did not get any justice whatsoever. She was murdered on April 27, 2006, in the care of the egg donor and her and her live-in boyfriend. And my daughter was raped. My daughter was set on fire. My daughter was murdered. She was 8 years old. She was at Jeffersonville Elementary School in the 3rd grade. She had a lot of friends and stuff. She was, just one of those children that you could just fall in love with immediately. Unfortunately, she went to bed that night, and they brought my daughter out of the home, no longer alive. I've been posting stuff on my Facebook page for a while. I know you guys have seen it. I saw where, like I said, I posted on there the mom's comment to why she didn't save my daughter. The reason I posted that was because I remember the phone call I got from her that night. And the phone call I got from her that night, she said that my daughter was still her house was on fire. And I said, okay. And she said, no, Mackenzie's still in there. And I remember yelling into the phone, and I have an eyewitness that heard the phone conversation because she was in their kitchen. And he could hear me in the background telling her to get off the fucking phone with me. Don't let my baby girl die. Why are you on the phone with me? Get your ass out of there. Get back to the house. Get my child out of that house. And I kept repeatedly telling her to save my baby. After talking to that witness, I noticed that the mom, when she hung up with me on the phone, she no longer did anything. The gentleman said that she and her boyfriend sat right there at the table, never moved or nothing to go and try to save my little girl. Then the sheriff's office and some other undercover cops and city police came to where I worked at. But before they got there, I already had called the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. I told them who I was, and the dispatcher told me my daughter already was dead. The next thing I know, I was laying on the floor with my boss and a waitress giving me water, and I woke up, or came around, and there all the cops were, and they told me to go home, that my daughter was at the hospital, which was right across the street from where I worked, and to go home, and that somebody would later on meet me at my house. I went to my house. I already told my boys that their sister had passed away. And then, it went from there. And in the beginning of this, and that's what everybody needs to know, if you look at all the articles, if you go on Google and you Google in my daughter's name, it's all about the fire. And what happened in 2017, I took over my daughter's case. I knew a lot of red flags were out there. I started hearing different things, so I started investigating it myself. During the time of investigating it, I found a coroner's report that was never filed. I found that my daughter's clothes were destroyed 3 months after her murder. Her hair sample was destroyed 5 months after her death. I found out that my daughter went from the county morgue back to Fayette County, back to the county morgue. So I knew something was wrong. I remember the day I went to the funeral home and my daughter was there. I remember standing there. I remember the funeral director looked at me and he said, "Donald, I know what you want." And the egg donor was beside me and my 2 sons were beside me. And I told my 2 sons to go outside, out on the porch. The egg donor looked at me and asked me what I was doing. I said, they're going to open up the casket so I can hold my child, kiss her, love on her, spend my last, as much time as I can with her before they put her in the ground. And she turned and looked at me and said that I was a sick motherfucker, that she couldn't believe I would want to stand there and look at my daughter. And she went out the door. So when that happened, at that time, that's when my red flags went up. And I knew something was wrong. 3 years from 2006 to 2009, they left me as a suspect. My mom came down. We got to the point where, more or less, my mom told him, you know what, just come over here, arrest my son, so that way we can get him an attorney and clear his name. On May 30th, my daughter's 11th birthday of my daughter, they cleared me. They actually cleared me on her birthday. I was not cleared by the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. I was cleared by ATF and the fire marshal. When they had cleared me, which I have that article, they said in there that the father and the father's live-in, which was my girlfriend at the time, which is my wife, were cleared of all wrongdoing of this murder. But the mother and the boyfriend were still suspects. And the Fayette County Sheriff's Office more or less says they're not suspects. They're not, that they have no suspects. They have no person of interest. So, like I said, in 2017, after the Fayette County Sheriff's Office has had this for 10 years, and it wasn't going nowhere, I mean, absolutely nowhere, I ended up investigating my own daughter's murder. And during this process, I was able to recover her photographs from the Montgomery County morgue. I was able to receive her photographs from the exhuming, because we did have my daughter exhumed. And I also was able to get other information and stuff on this crime. The reason I asked for the photographs from my daughter's autopsy when she went there was because the Fayette County Sheriff made a point that my child clothes that were destroyed, he said at first they were lost. And it was never mentioned about my child's clothes until I watched the John Bonet story. And during that story, they mentioned touch DNA. So I knew my child had clothes on that night, so I asked for the clothes to be tested for touch DNA. And the Fayette County Sheriff's Office said, well, we don't know where the clothes are. They're lost. Well, then it started, they were blaming the leading detective, who is no longer with us, he's dead, for having her clothes. So I thought something wasn't, I kept thinking to myself, I said, wait a minute, I have never heard of a detective that puts a crime scene in their car and rides around for 10 years with evidence to a crime in their vehicle. So I made a phone call to Montgomery County. I told them who I was and that I wanted to know where my child's clothes were, or if there was any paperwork on my child's clothes. The Montgomery County Coroner's Office came back to the phone and said, Mr. Branham, the clothes were destroyed. So then when I called up Fayette County Sheriff's Office and told them, why'd y'all tell me they were lost when they were destroyed, they had no answer. So then it came out, there was a story about it, because I, of course, as a father, got mad because my child's clothes were destroyed. So I caused a big scene down here where I live. Then the sheriff puts in the newspaper that the clothes were not irrelevant to the case and that the clothes were wet and singed. So I decided to go get the clothes, or go get the photographs of the autopsy, which was the photographs of my daughter arriving there with the clothes on. We took the photographs, we blew them up. I looked at them, I studied the clothes. The clothes were not wet. My daughter's body was not wet. My daughter's clothes weren't singed. Actually, the clothes told a lot about that crime scene. The panties that were on my daughter were like 3 or 4 times her size. We noticed there was no water trails on the soot part of my daughter's body where the soot was on her. There was no designs or anything from water touching her. So then when I made a phone call to the fire marshal, He said, I don't know why, Donald, you went through all that. I could have told you no water touched your daughter's body. So by that being said, I asked myself, why is this sheriff lying to me about the clothes being destroyed? Well, then I got to calling around and making phone calls, and I ended up talking to the coroner. The coroner told me that my daughter was sexually assaulted. They found DNA inside of her. It was male DNA. My child is 8 years old. There shouldn't be no male DNA anywhere around or near my daughter's body. And so that's when this all went from, it wasn't just a fire, it wasn't just an arson, my child was raped. So then as I further on in my investigation, more things came out, more things started showing up, and the Fayette County Sheriffs got pissed, and they cut me off. They won't talk to me, they won't discuss anything with me. The prosecutor, which I have a live feed about that on my page, but on my daughter's live, or on my live feed with the prosecutor, he told me that he doesn't represent me. He represents my daughter, and he represents the Fayette County Sheriff's Office, which that's a lie. He represents the victim, and he represents the victim's family. So, like I said, the more and more that kept coming leads me to, like I said, tonight. So I started posting things about my daughter's, crime, and as you guys can tell, I have repeatedly proven, I have also played an audio of the mother telling me about that night. And she changed her story, I don't know how many times in the video, on the audio tape where me and her is discussing the crime. She's changed her story of how she left the house, the whole 9 yards. It's been one lie after another lie. But the main thing is, the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is I'm fighting is because they've had male DNA for 6 years when they discovered it was inside of her during the autopsy. They had that male DNA for 6 years. 6 years it sat there. Nobody asked about it. Nobody questioned it. In 2012, they said, oops, we got, DNA from this crime in Fayette County. Well, then they did a profile, then they had it. Now, I'm going to explain this real quick about CODIS. Okay, CODIS DNA. When they put DNA into CODIS, they have to have a certain amount of numbers. Those numbers go into CODIS. That way, when they run somebody, those numbers, if there's 44 numbers, and 7 numbers are of the 40, if they have 44 numbers and they put it in CODIS, if somebody comes through there and they hit, let's say, 18 of those numbers, 1 in a billion, that person is the one that committed the crime. Where my daughter's case is different. My daughter has 1 number, which is the male, which is the Y and X, which shows that it was a male's DNA that was inside my daughter's body. There's no other numbers, so they'll never put my daughter's DNA in CODIS because there's no other numbers to hit on somebody else. But because the DNA is a strong DNA and it's in Montgomery County, once they run a male's DNA to what they have, once that person hits that DNA, it's them. 1 in a million, it's that person that raped that child. So, what the Fayette County Sheriff's Office did when we exhumed my daughter, they found a little more DNA in the same spot the DNA was the first time taken. They took that male DNA and they sent it to BCI. BCI profiled it, but the difference in that DNA and the Montgomery County's DNA is the DNA that's in BCI is a weaker DNA because it was less that they found, but it was still in the same spot. So when somebody hits that DNA, it can be the uncle, the brother, the grandfather. Out of that one person they test, it could be 15 males because it's a weaker DNA. But the DNA that Montgomery County has, once that male hits it, that's the person that did it. So what Fayette County Sheriff's Office thought they were smart on this, but I caught on to it real quick after I talked to the lab people at BCI and I talked to Montgomery County, is, well, we'll just run everybody through BCI. Because as long as they run through BCI and through CODIS, nothing's going to come back. But it looks like they're active. It looks like it's an active case. Even though they know it's going to come back, no hit, no hit, no hit, no hit. But they won't run it with Montgomery County's DNA. Because they know the 11 names I gave them, once that DNA hits, that person raped my daughter. That person knows why the fire was set. That person knows why my daughter's no longer here. So that's why I'm pushing more on the rape, because the rape is the actual crime. The coroner already stated it. This was a unique fire. Most fires are set to destroy a person is because they were shot or stabbed and they're trying to cover up how that person died. Where my daughter's case, she was alive and they set her on fire to cover up the sexual assault. The difference is, thank glory, and I praise them every day, the firemen that went in and got my daughter out of the house, is they were able to bring Mackenzie out as whole, as my daughter. Yeah, her skin was slippage and she's got massive blisters is what I want to call them, where her skin is peeled away and stuff. Yes, my daughter don't look like my daughter 100%, but she looks like Mackenzie. And because of that, they were able to do and find the DNA that they found. And the reason the mother and them waited and hesitated 20 minutes before they told anybody that my daughter was in that house was because they didn't want my daughter to come out of that house as Mackenzie. They wanted her to come out as either A, a skeleton, or B, ashes. And that to me is two sick individuals. And that tells me that's two people that know what happened that night, because they waited 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, to even tell a fireman, oh, by the way, my child's in that house in the back bedroom burning. But then you go back to Fayette County, and they're going to sit there and say, well, we don't have no suspects. We don't have no person of interest. All right. We know that the mom has lied more than I've ever seen anybody lie. And I have proven and proven and proven those lies. We've heard her on tape, but she'll still deny. Well, she did deny. If y'all remember, a couple nights ago I showed you the live feed where she texted my son and said that I forged these, I made these up, these are all fake documents, these are fake photographs. I mean, come on, really? Fake photographs of my daughter laying on an autopsy table? Really? The report's fake? They ain't fake. No, Braxton Strong, no, this is not. I just saw what you wrote. No, it's not. We're both the same, hun. We're both the same with both of our cases. But the thing of it is, this brings me, like I said, to why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to stop. They've tried to shut me down. They've tried to throw me in jail. They've tried everything they could possibly try to keep this from happening, keep from the community and the world knowing what really happened in Fayette County, Ohio. I'm not going to stop. I've said it before. Until I take my last breath, I'm not going to stop. And every time I work on this, and I have worked on this very hard, I have pulled more evidence. I found in all this, I found 7 eyewitnesses that were never spoke to. And they were standing there during the fire. They saw the mom and the boyfriend. They saw their actions. They knocked on their doors. They asked for shoes. The mom even asked for a pair of shoes. Even asking for a pair of shoes, never even said anything about her child. She was more concerned about her feet being cold and that she needed a pair of shoes on. And I don't know why. It ain't like she put the shoes on and then ran back over there to save Mackenzie. So, while she was more concerned about her feet hurting because she's running around on the street, my little girl and my little girl's feet was burning in a fire. What do you think her pain was? I guarantee her pain was a lot more than the pain of this egg donor that thought her feet needed a pair of shoes. And that's the truth. She borrowed a pair of shoes. And not only one, when the shoes didn't fit, she even told the lady, they don't fit, I need another pair. The lady went and got her another pair. The whole time this is going on, my child's in a house burning. My child is dying. And this mother was more concerned about her feet. The sheriff did. They threatened me that that this is considered something investigation. Interfering with an investigation. First of all, I can't interfere with something you're not doing. You know, if you were investigating my daughter's homicide, then I could say, okay, I'm interfering. But I'm not interfering because I'm the one getting the evidence. I'm the one out there beating on the doors. I'm the one talking to the witnesses. I'm the one finding people that were missing. I'm the one that has proved that this case can be done. I have enough. I guarantee you I have enough to all you new followers. I guarantee you I have enough right now that I can walk into any courtroom, any state of the United States, and I can get an indictment. But I got a prosecutor over here that's afraid. I got a prosecutor that's afraid to come and take this evidence and go into a jury and get a jury indictment and go arrest the people that's behind my daughter's death.
Hi, sister. That's why I'm partnering with Signet to remind you to go in for your annual checkup.
Things happen to my children before. I've showed that with Paint Valley, when my children were going through counseling, and when they were going through counseling, my children were being molested. My children were being forced to do sex acts. And the whole time, the mental health place, the counselor, the licensed psychologist was sending referrals to our children's services. Our children's services totally ignored it. Totally didn't do anything. Didn't investigate nobody. No nothing. So now my daughter was raped. My daughter is dead. And these people that my daughter told that she was being messed with were never investigated. Even knowing my child was raped before her death. And that they found male DNA. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They even have a uncle that I have a police report right here that was brought into the sheriff's or the police department. It was actually the police department of gross sexual imposition on my daughter. Back in, let me find the date, 2003. In 2006, my daughter was raped. They ain't even asked him for his DNA. And this was an uncle. Then you got Paint Valley reports where another uncle did stuff to my child. They ain't done nothing with that one. Come on. Are you serious?
In the time it takes to brew a cup, here's the story of Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, Costa Rica, Paraíso. First, we go to San Marcos, Costa Rica, and meet Sergio. That's his daughter, Maria. Sergio.
Yes, I agree. I agree, and I even brought that up. I even said, you know, even though my daughter's passed away, my daughter still told a licensed psychologist that somebody was messing with her. Those persons should be brought in. Those persons should be interviewed. And if they're found guilty, they should be charged. Even though my daughter's not here, they should be charged and should be put away. Because, trust me, if they were doing it to my daughter, they're doing it to somebody else's daughter. This county failed my children. No doubt about it. I got the proof here and I got the evidence here. Now, there's also evidence. So now we're going to start what I wanted to do this on. My daughter's, my egg donor's boyfriend used to lock my daughter in closets until she screamed all night long until the next day when she went to school. She had no voice. And I have those reports. He used to cover her mouth with his hand. He used to hang my children on hooks. He used to call my children the N-word. He used to throw shoes at my children. He has done so much. But then, he also, another child that is grown now, today, did an interview with me. He did an interview with me, a live interview. And he told what this boyfriend did when this guy was with his mom. He used to electrocute this kid. He used to beat on this kid. He used to do the same thing. And that's what brought that kid out, is when I started my live feeds and talking about what this boyfriend did to my child. He came out. He came to me and said, look, I want to tell my story. And I said, do you want to do it live? And he said, yes. And we did a live story of this young gentleman and what he went through and what this guy did to him. Now, I told everybody back when I first started this about the boyfriend, and that he also beat a 2-year-old. He beat a 2-year-old for peeing the bed. That wasn't his child. And he beat this child, 2 years old, for peeing the bed. And I had that police report, and unfortunately, when BCI and all them came to look at my evidence and stuff back a few years ago, some things come up missing out of my case files. And that was one of the things that came up missing, was that police report. And everybody that knows me knows how I am. When I do my live feeds, I always like to show my evidence to prove what I'm saying is true. And I know I had it when I went to court on a custody hearing with my boys, and I proved it there, and that's why I have my sons, and that's why I always have my son. But from the grace of God, I've been doing it and posting stuff. I said this was the year that I was going to fight harder than I ever fought. And by the grace of God, there was a lady, thank God, love her to death. She knows who she is. I will not tell names. Found the report of him beating the 2-year-old. I have it right here, Kenny. Kenny Mossbarger, look what I have. You thought you destroyed it. You thought you hid it. And I got it right here. Here's the report. I've got it. So now I can actually prove and actually say, not only did you torture one kid that came live and told his story, but then I now have the proof that you tortured a 2-year-old for peeing the bed. And not only that, you're also involved in my daughter's homicide and rape. And my other children. And I proved in photographs, it's on my page, where you cut my son 10 inches down his stomach and 5 puncture wounds and was never investigated. Never investigated. Hurt my son and never investigated. Now I have the evidence. You see, I don't give up. I don't quit. I keep fighting. I keep showing people the truth. These people believe in me. These people that have researches and the knowledge to do what they can do to help me, they prove it every day. They prove what my daughter means. See, 5 pages, buddy. Right here, what you do. 5 pages of what you did to a 2-year-old. Now, why was this important to me? I'll tell you guys why this is important to me. He beat a 2-year-old in 1998 for peeing the bed. He went to jail, stayed there 3 days. He had a $2,000 cash bond. He ended up plea dealing with the courts, and his plea deal was that he would leave Fresno, South Dakota, and never be allowed back in South Dakota again. Never allowed. So that was the bargain. But now the guy leaves South Dakota, comes to the state of Ohio, and now my daughter is dead. My daughter is no longer here. So we really didn't get anything out of this, because what he did to that 2-year-old, he never really got punished for it. Now he came to the state of Ohio, and my daughter's dead, and he was torturing my daughter. I have that evidence. He tortured my little girl. And then not only that, but he tortured my sons. So this is why it's important to me, because everybody knows that my daughter, anybody that's been following me since I started the investigation, knows that my daughter wet the bed, that my daughter had yeast infections, that my daughter was made and forced by this son of a bitch to wear her panties, her pee underwear panties, on her head. She was also forced to lay in bed. She was also forced to lay in bed in her urine. They wouldn't clean her sheets or her mattress. So, I can tell you right now, 103%, he's behind my daughter's death. He's behind who was raping my child, if he wasn't the one raping her. But right here is the notes. Here is the notes from Children's Services in 2004. Mom reports that Mackenzie has had kidney infections and she has not been able to take her to the doctor. She don't know if Donald took her or not. Guess what, you all? Guess what? Dad took my child to the doctor. Mother wouldn't do it, but the father did it. Okay, right here. Donald came in to give me the name of the medication that Mackenzie is taking. It is ciprofloxacin HCl 500 milligrams TABBRR. He reports that the side effects that he's supposed to look for is high fever above 102. She is to get this medicine 2 times daily, a half a teaspoon, 8 a.m., 8 p.m. He is concerned because there has been medication problem in the past with Mary, the mother. We will be able to see that she has taken some. I told him that I would go to the exchange on Friday. Donald reports that the last urine test of Mackenzie came back bad. Dr. Fitton feels that she may have some problems with her kidneys. She feels that this is nothing to mess around with. All right, and I have that report. What it is her urine was backing up into her body. But right there, the mother wouldn't even take her. Mom reports that she stays wet all night and has developed a yeast infection many times. The mother, and I have to read it like mother. I know you guys don't like me calling her mother. But the mother knew that she was having yeast infections, many of them, but wouldn't take her to the doctor. But Children's Services didn't think that was bad. Instead, they wanted to make sure I took her. And then, if I didn't take her, then I was the bad person? Because why? First of all, and I'm not saying this in a mean way, I'm a male. I'm the dad. I don't understand the women parts. You know what I'm saying? I think it would have been easier for the mother to take her, and it should have been the mother's responsibility to take her and have that checked, but refused to, and Children's Services knew it and did nothing to the mother, but made sure I did, and if I didn't, I was in trouble. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is a little girl. But I stepped up and I took my child to the hospital. And then I was explained everything. And I got my child on medicine. And this son of a bitch was making her wear panties on her head. This son of a bitch was making her sleep in her urine. And the mother knew she was having yeast infection because she stayed wet all night. It's her right here. Right here's her statement. Right there it is, Children's Services. There's her statement to Children's Services. And you're going to tell me that's not neglect? You're going to tell me that was all right? That was all right for this mother to not take her child to the doctor? Because you know why? The doctor would have probably asked her, what the fuck are you doing, woman? Your child's having yeast infection and stuff, and this child's telling me you're making her sleep in urine. You're making her wear panties on her head. That's why the mother didn't take her. That's the God's honest truth. You guys have no clue what I have been through with this community, this town. The shit that they have slid under a rug. And they got all this facts. All this facts they have. Or maybe they don't have because they didn't investigate. And you're going to stand there and look at the father in the eyes and say, I don't have no suspects. I don't have no person of interest. Let me read this to you guys. The state of South Dakota aforesaid Kenny Mossbarger did intentionally cause bodily injury to another, to wit, which it did not result in serious bodily injuries, but still was a violation. This is from the state of Ohio, South Dakota, county of Lyman. I made a warrantless arrest of use of the defendant and charged the offense of child abuse. The probable cause for this arrest was I was contacted and advised that Mossbarger had beat his child. I made contact and witnessed the bruises all over the 2-year-old's backside. Law enforcement, and then he signed it. But there also is a... Hold on, my phone. I can't, because then they can't hear me. But that's why I was talking about the police report. Because the police report, the policeman actually words what that son of a bitch said to that cop in the back of the car to why he beat that kid. And that cop even puts on his report that he almost puked because it was so sickening of the excuse that this son of a bitch had to why he beat this kid. But right there it shows you how much the justice system fails. Because they should have put his ass in fucking prison instead of plea bargaining with him and letting him leave the state of South Dakota and not return to come to Ohio. And now my daughter's dead. And my daughter peed the bed. And my daughter, if he could beat a 2-year-old for peeing the bed, what do you think he did to an 8-year-old that peed the bed? Ask that question to yourself. If he could beat a 2-year-old that's just going through potty training, what do you think he did to an 8-year-old that was peeing the bed? Anybody who lives in the Dayton area better pay attention because that's where they live, in the Dayton area of Ohio. And you better pay attention real quick because he also is a truck driver. He also is out on the road. This is a sick individual that needs to be locked up. And once again, I'm going to say this. Jeffersonville, wake up. Here's a man, and I have the evidence, that beat a 2-year-old who also is a suspect in a homicide of a little girl who was raped, murdered, and set on fire. Wake up, Jeffersonville. And with all this evidence, how do you feel there, the Potters, the other side of the family, that lets him come to a family reunion, that takes their children and lets this son of a bitch babysit? Now here's the evidence. Here's the proof that that son of a bitch hurts children. But you would protect him. You would, because he holds the key to what the mother, which is your sister, your daughter, did to her own child. Because any family on that side would be pissed that the mother ain't raising hell that her daughter was raped. That the mother is still living with this man that hurts children. And she even said in her own words, I don't remember who woke up who. I don't remember seeing Kenny until I ran around the back of the house and I met him getting a ladder, which we all know he didn't use a ladder. I've already called Dr. Phil. I've already talked to every person that does stories on TV. We've sent out millions of letters. We have called every news reporter. We have done everything you can possibly do. This is the only way I can tell my story. And I'm going to tell you why. I said it the other night, and it's not in a mean way. A lot of people don't watch a father, a male, pleading for help. That is the truth. I'm telling you right now, if you reverse the tables, and it was the mother saying, I'm the one that did this, and the fire was at my house, and my child was raped, and everybody on here, and this is the truth, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, you all would accuse me. You would automatically say, that dad did it. That dad raped his little girl. That dad set the house on fire to cover it up. Plus, I would be in prison if it was the mother. But because it's the father, and it's the mother that's the guilty one, not a lot of people follow the story. Not a lot of people want to see this. Not a lot of people don't understand how a father can plead. But like I said before, I'm a father. I have a heart. I cry tears too. I think about my little girl every single night of my life. I have fought this hard. I have went to court 71 times. I have gone to court 13 other times. I fought for custody of my children. I won custody of my children with no lawyer because I am a human being. I am human. I do cry. I do feel pain. I do hurt. I do like hugs. I do like the comfort of somebody comforting me and saying it'll be all right. It does not matter if I'm a male or female. It doesn't matter. This ain't about me. It's about a child that was raped, murdered, and set on fire. It's about that little girl. And it shouldn't matter who's fighting for the justice. But, and like I said, I'm not meaning this in a bad way. All I'm saying is that the tables were turned, and it was the mom doing these live feeds, and she was saying this, and she had the evidence that it was me, pointing me. Everybody on here would say, automatically, it's the dad. He raped her that night. Now he used the fire to cover up that crime, and he killed her in the process. And I would be in prison. I'm telling you right now, they wouldn't even give a damn if they had solid evidence or not. I'd be in prison just because I was the male, and it was a little girl, and it was my house. But why ain't it happening that way? Why ain't it happening? There's a male who was in that house. He's got history of hurting children, and nothing. Not even his DNA ran. Because the key word, cover up. Look at it however else you want to look at it, is a cover-up. And my little girl's justice is laying there because nobody cares. I said this before. Tonight, my numbers have been over 100 people viewing. Beautiful. I'm glad. I'm glad more people are getting involved in this. I'm glad more people are seeing this. But you also got to share the story. You got to put it out there. Eventually, it's going to catch the right person. It's eventually going to see that person sitting there at home is going to see this and say, oh my gosh. And they're going to come. It's going to happen. But I'm being honest. I'm being fair. I have fighting this for a long time. And that's the whole reason there's a GoFundMe for Mackenzie. It ain't for me to buy a boat. It ain't for me to get a tattoo. It ain't for me to get a haircut. That GoFundMe is to help me to do what I do, to help me move forward, to help me get posters, to help me make things, to help me get copies of stuff, photographs of stuff. It helps me do. And the thing of it is, I have talked to lawyers. I have talked to over 100 lawyers. Over 100. And every one of them lawyers say, I can't help you. And the reason behind it is because, A, it's an open case. 2, it's because it has to deal with political. It has to do with politicians. And they don't want the bad name if it don't go their way. And I understand that. So that's why I'm fighting the way I'm fighting. I believe that eventually the right person out there is going to say, I don't give a damn if you're Republican, Democrat, the sheriff's office, the president of the United States. This little girl deserves justice. I'm going to go and help this father, and we're going to do it. That's the whole reason for the GoFundMe. It is to help me keep moving this forward, to pay for the things that I have to pay for to keep this alive. That's all it's for. And I'm being honest with you. I don't have a boat. I don't have a yacht. I don't have a camper. I ain't going to Walt Disney World. I ain't going to Myrtle Beach right after I bury my daughter to a poker run. The reason also I want this story out, do you understand that the place that this egg donor works at and this boyfriend is associated with, if these people knew the truth about this man, he wouldn't be inside that Legion. That's where they are at, the Legion, where bikers are, for veterans of our soldiers. They wouldn't be in there. They wouldn't even be caught with their face in there. This is why I want the story out. This man is still running the streets. Because this was a murder, and because it was an arson, and because it's also a rape, there is no statute of limitation on this case. There is no statute of limitation. Now, there is statute of limitation on wrongful death. There is a statute of limitation on other parts of this that I've already ran out on because the sheriff's office told me to shut up, keep my mouth closed, let them do the investigation, And, of course, it went the wrong way. And because it was 10 years now before I realized what was going on, a lot of the stuff did reach the statute of limitation. Now, as far as the murder, the rape, and the arson, that can be still solved. Because you got to think about it. The only thing they investigated was the fire. They ain't investigated the rape. So now that's a fresh case. That's a fresh whole, So, they can still investigate that. Now, after all this is said and done, then I have a civil lawsuit. Then I have also a wrongful death lawsuit. But I have to get the ones that are behind this convicted. And the thing of it is, it's an easy conviction. DNA is sitting there. Yes, I have went to the FBI. I walked right up in there. And I sat down with the FBI. They know about this case. But they cannot touch this case because they were not invited into this case. No, I think the house is probably gone. I'm still searching and looking into that. If I find out where the house went and it did not go to an actual landfill, it went somewhere else, yes, I will be digging it up. And yes, I'll be trying to find her bed, her sheets, her pillowcase. Because one thing about DNA is DNA lasts 521 years. Nobody's been charged. Nobody. Okay, Melissa, you have to get with me. I don't understand that one. But that's what I'm saying, you guys. The rape's what's important here. That's what's important. Because that's only the evidence they've got is from the rape. They don't have no other evidence because they didn't do their job. They didn't investigate. They didn't collect a single thing out of my daughter's bedroom. They didn't collect her sheets. They didn't collect her pillows. They didn't collect anything around where the body was found dead. They didn't collect nothing. Fayette County didn't do nothing. They didn't do no phone records to see who all the mom, boyfriend, anybody called, any calls. They didn't do that. They didn't talk to any witnesses at the crime scene. But, well, I'll take that back. They did talk to one witness at the crime, or two witnesses at the crime scene that lived behind them. But all the other ones, they didn't even contact them, didn't even go to them, didn't discuss nothing with them. Fayette County didn't do anything. They did the least amount that they could do. Like I said, they sent my child to Montgomery County as a accident when they knew it wasn't an accident. She was washed, cleaned, sent back, ready for a funeral, and then they got a phone call saying, "Did you do the swabs we asked you to do?" And next thing you know, she was taken back to Montgomery County, and then that's when they found the internal DNA. And the coroner already stated that he wished that he would have known it was a different situation, because then they would have never washed her body. And there's a possibility they'd have found DNA on the outside. I believe, and 110%, that there was DNA in her panties and on her tank top, but we'll never know because that was destroyed. There's no paperwork on who destroyed it. It was done supposedly over a phone call. Her hair was destroyed, but I have her hair. Unfortunately, I do have about 25 strands of her hair after the crime. So it didn't get destroyed. So I can still run any tests on her hair. But like I said, it costs money. That's the whole reason for the GoFundMe, is so that I can, pay for certain things that I just don't have the funds to do. It sucks. I wish I was rich and I could do the things that rich people can do to, get things done. But I don't. I don't have that kind of money, and I do what I can the best way I can. But I can tell you, in the 2 years that I've been on my daughter's case, I've done a pretty damn good job of solving my daughter's homicide. I'm not ashamed of it. I will not hold my head down. I will always hold it high. Like I said, this man is a piece of shit, and everybody in Jeffersonville needs to know that. They need to know this. And the people that live in the Dayton area of Ohio need to know what kind of person is running their streets. All I can say is, keep your children away from them. It's not bashing him, it's facts. There's a difference when you have facts and you have court documents saying what he does. And that's what I have. And that was, yes, right, Wendell, you're right. Montgomery County said now, because of my daughter's case, and that's what he said, because of Mackenzie's case, that now every victim that comes into Montgomery County is treated as a homicide victim first, and then ruled as an accident later. And that's what I said. No matter what comes out of this, at least my daughter and her name made changes to how now certain ways of a case are handled. And I'm proud of her. I'm proud of my little girl. Even though she's not here with me, her name lives on. She made changes, like I said. I guarantee you this won't happen again. I'll guarantee you, when the next child gets taken away, they'll investigate it the right way. I guarantee you that, because if they don't, anybody out there can contact me, and I guarantee you I'll be in their ass. I don't care. I'll be straight up in their ass asking 1,000 questions. So, I'm not afraid to help anybody with their case. I'm not afraid to travel and help anybody with their case. This is America. So, freedom of speech. Do your job's all I got to say. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a cop. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor. It doesn't matter if you're a lawyer. It doesn't matter if you're a fireman. It doesn't matter if you're a priest. If you commit a crime towards a child, you should be punished. Point blank. And it don't matter who you are. It don't matter if you are a football player, basketball star. It doesn't matter. Quit letting people buy their way out of trouble. Because that's what happened here. That's what happened here. $2,000. This guy walked for $2,000. Came to Ohio. And now my little girl's dead. $2,000. If we, the American people, don't stop and get on this stuff, man, it's going to keep happening. Yeah, Mike DeWine. Yeah, share the hell out of it to Mike DeWine, because that's the sorry piece of shit that's now our governor, that worked for the state's attorney general's office, that refused to take my phone calls or refused to come down here and find out what was going on with my daughter's case. Which he's only less than 45 minutes away, this crime scene, and he refused to even talk to the father. Refused. Now he's our governor. Thanks, Ohio. You're right, Rick. Destroying of evidence is obstruction of justice. You're right, 100%. It is also negligence of the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. And that's what I don't understand either. I hope so, Lauren. But, you know, one of the biggest thing here is negligence. I don't care what anybody says. There was a lot of negligence on my daughter's case. A lot of the stuff that they knew to do that was protocol. A comment like that cop said, that the cop that I, played his live feed, said, even a rookie knew what to do at that crime scene. What you're supposed to collect. What you're supposed to take photographs of. What you're supposed to get phone records. A rookie knew this. This is a sheriff. This is a sheriff at the crime scene, and you're telling me he didn't know what to do? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And that's why I'm saying it's a cover-up. That's why I'm going to keep saying it's a cover-up. Till the day I die, it's a cover-up. They can say whatever they want to say, and they can say I'm full of shit. But if y'all remember the other audio I played where I'm talking to one of the detectives in my garage, the one that said there's the 3-day sleep cycle, and he didn't know what crystal lights were, and when I said cover up, he got pissed. Then he cussed me, and then I asked him why you cussed me, and then he said I didn't cuss you, which everybody heard him cuss me. And then he walks out of my garage because he's done. He's done. I ain't going to make his department look bad. I didn't make your department look bad. 10 years y'all had this case. 10 years you did nothing. You're right there too, Sean. Negligence of Children's Services and the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. You're right. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, we ain't done here. I'm going to play some audio. I got, more audio that hasn't been played. So I'm going to pull it up. You guys, I'm going to play a song. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. I got a lot more to talk about. I'm going to play a song while I switch my TV and everything over to, so you guys can hear the audio and live tapes. Get out of here. like that song says, life is a gift. Alright, so what I got, you guys, here, I'll put this over here now so you can see as much as you can. So what I got here, this is all my audio. That's the prosecutor there, the hotel manager, which I played. Everybody wanted to hear that one. And that was pretty sickening, that the mother and them supposedly went to, the motel donated 2 rooms. 2 rooms out of the kindness of their hearts for them because of the fire. And they ended up, within hours after the fire, they ended up having a party. They literally had alcohol, partying, swimming in the swimming pool, had a chicken fight. My daughter ain't even been dead 24 hours yet. And the family was already having a party in a swimming pool at a motel. Let's see, this one, let me go around here. Let me see where I'm at. Okay, that's the guy that threatened me. I don't care about that one. Let's see, that's the cop, which everybody heard that one. This one is Jesse Weed. Let's go ahead. I'm going to play. This is Jesse Weed. This is the prosecutor. Hey, somebody out there, let me know if you can hear it good.
Good morning, State County Prosecutor's Office.
You guys wanted Jesse Weed was in?
Mr. Branham?
Yep.
Just a moment.
Yeah, notice how they know me by name? They know me already by name. They only pick up the phone as Donald Branham. Yeah, already know me by name. Hey, man, it's Donald Branham.
Yeah, what's up?
What's going on with my daughter's case?
Well, I'm waiting on a BCI meeting. I'm waiting to hear from fire marshal. I'm waiting on a fuse.
Okay, what are you, BCI, what are you waiting on there? Because Ryan McFarland told me BCI is not involved.
No, but we're gonna have a think tank meeting where everybody looks at it and try to have an outside box thinking. Let some other people that bring in BCI and probably some Columbus homicide to just present the case and let them look at it and come up with other ideas of places that we might need to go or things of that nature.
Okay, and the fire marshal?
There's a few things I want to talk to Ron Stephen.
Okay.
So.
And the Fayette County Sheriff's Office, that's doing nothing?
I talk with Ron regularly. He hadn't updated me lately. But.
Okay, here's my question, okay? I know the DNA profile in 2012.
Okay.
And why hasn't anybody that I've requested to be ran for DNA been ran?
I believe that DNA, you mean other people's DNA ran on against that DNA. Is that what you're talking about?
Right, the DNA that they had in 2012, that sat there from 2006 to 2012 at Montgomery County. Okay, that DNA was profiled in 2012. Why hasn't anybody been ran with that DNA?
I'm not going to say that DNA hasn't been ran against that.
I'm not talking about kids that John Hicks did. I'm talking about Kenny Mossbarger. I'm talking about William Potter. I'm talking about Christopher Potter, Al Crawford, Jamie Potter.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that there hasn't been DNA run against it. I'm not going to say who and what, but I'm going to say that there hasn't been DNA run against it.
Okay, now, let me ask you a question. If in 2012, that this petition of DNA, material DNA and everything, and they profiled it, why did we exhume Mackenzie?
See if there was anything else there. It could have been, it could be entirely different. There's, what was there in 2012 that we knew about, and then you exhume her and you see if there's stains on her body, see if there's anything else there, see if there's any other evidence that could turn something else up.
So that's why she was exhumed.
To see if there would be any DNA on her body, yes.
So what happened? I mean, what happened to the DNA that was in 2012?
That's a DNA profile. There could be another DNA profile that would be on her body. It wouldn't necessarily be the same. It's a not a reach, but it's an effort to try to find something else.
So in 2012, you're saying, in other words, there wasn't enough there to...
I'm not saying anything about the 2012 DNA one way or the other.
Of course you're not. Of course you're not.
Okay, and am I allowed to see paperwork on what was sent to BCI?
Nope.
I don't think it's a record.
Chain of command, I mean, I'm not allowed to see as a father that make sure that the results was sent there?
No, because it's part of the criminal investigation. I mean, it's not public record.
Okay, well, I just want to ask you, what's Fayette County doing? I just don't understand. Since nobody wants to communicate with the father about his daughter's murder, why, what is going on? Other than BCI and the fire marshal, what is actually going on with the Fayette County? What have they done in the past 6 years?
Prosecutor.
You're going to need
Lauren, I'm talking to the prosecutor.
About that.
You don't want to talk to me.
Your boss is attempting to reach you on your cellular device.
He's the one that's investigating the case right now. So
Okay.
I'm going to defer to him on what he releases or doesn't release.
Okay, if the Fayette County Sheriff's Office is handling this case, then why in the world have they not yet talked to 8 eyewitnesses now?
That's a question that you have to ask the Fayette County Sheriff's Office.
Why haven't they brought Jamie in? Why haven't they looked for this black guy, this mysterious black guy that was in the house?
I can request them go out and do things, but I can't make them do things. I can't make somebody come in. That's Ryan McFarland, that's the Sheriff's Office job. That's questions you're going to have to take up with him.
Okay, but you're the prosecutor on this case.
Right, and I can tell them, I can ask them to go do it, but they don't report me. I can't make them go do something.
Well, let me ask you a question. Was any X ever done on my daughter?
No, I'm not going to go through the ins and outs of the case.
I'm asking you, was there any X-rays done on my daughter's body?
I'm telling you, I'm not going through the ins and outs of the investigation today. There's not going to be anything accomplished by that.
Alright.
Alright?
I guess...
I know I'm not leaving you walk away from this conversation happy, but there's nothing accomplished by you and I going through the ins and outs of the investigation.
No, I'm just concerned that in 12 years, I haven't seen anything but a lot of errors done on this case. And you can't sit there and deny it because I got the evidence to show it.
I'm not denying anything.
And as a father, I have every right to find out why in the world this case got so screwed up from the get-go. I have that right.
What we want to do is solve case and put somebody in prison for it. But if I could hate somebody today, I would, but I can't. Because I don't have the evidence to do it. If they give me the evidence, we will inform the grand jury, we will take it to grand jury, and we will prosecute this case.
Okay, I don't understand why the fire, I know what said to me last time that you just didn't feel the fire was whatever, I can't even remember what you said to me, but, I mean, I don't care, man, I know who is behind this fire. You don't have to put a match in somebody's hand to prove they lit the fire. There's enough evidence, a little bit of evidence that shows shit, character, lies, I mean, I can go on and on about the fire itself with the mother boyfriend. I I just don't understand what the holdup is here, because whatever happened in Mackenzie's room, you're not going to get that evidence. The room's gone. Her bedroom is gone. It's sitting in a dump, buried in somewhere in the dirt.
Well, that's part of what I want to talk to the fire marshal about, is the fire.
You know, like Vernon said to me, I don't like Detective Brown didn't do what he should have done. I don't have that answer. He's not here to explain why. He's not here to explain why witnesses that were only within 20 to 30 feet across the street he never talked to. I don't know why. But the thing of it is, like I keep, everybody wants to stick onto this, whatever happened in that bedroom, and you, as a prosecutor, knows there is no way they're going to get that evidence. There was nothing collected. There was no sheets collected. There was no pictures of the Detective Brown took of that crime scene whatsoever. He didn't take no pictures of any injuries of Marianne or Kenny. Nothing was done. So
Thank you,
room
Steve.
we don't care about. The arse is, Ron has all that evidence. He has every single bit of that evidence.
That's right.
Like I said, I need to talk to him. So I'd like to get him down here and have a meeting with him and McFarland.
Ryan McFarland, man. Ryan McFarland to me is a waste. He ain't done nothing.
Well, he's the investigator on the case right now, and he's going to be somebody that's going to have to testify. So I would like to make sure that everybody sees it the same way. Because if Demon says one thing and McFarland says another, the defense is going to put McFarland up, and then we've got a problem. So I'd like to make sure that the investigators of the crime see it the same way.
Right. Well, Ron told me, and that's what Ron said, he has not spoken to the Fayette County Sheriff's Office in over a year.
Amen.
I can't answer that. I can't answer why he wouldn't have spoken to the sheriff or why the sheriff's office hadn't spoken to him. That's,
when Jamie come forward and said that there was a black guy in that house that night, okay?
yeah.
All right. You don't think that's important for the sheriff's office to notify the fire marshals and say, hey, we now have another person that was inside the house? Because Ron Steeman, as a fire marshal, has to find this guy, and he has to clear that guy that he ain't the one that set that fire.
If this guy exists.
If that guy exists.
We don't even know that guy exists.
But nobody...
But you ain't looking for him, you dumbass.
I mean, I got a description of the guy, and I went out and had somebody sketch artist the guys and everything. That's what I'm saying. Why didn't Jamie get brought in and do that? I don't understand. There's nothing has changed on how you look at a crime scene. It got better, but it's still the same. You still take photographs, you collect evidence, you still make sketch artists draw, a person of interest that, no one knows the name on. You still bring print and question them. That's been going on for years. For years.
Right.
The only thing that's changed is DNA and other things that makes it easier to solve a case. But your common stuff, you would do when you go to a crime scene, has been around for years as the same rules and laws and legislations of how it's conducted at a crime scene. That's all I'm saying. I just don't understand, and you guys think that I should be what do they call me, a disgruntled father? I think I have every right to be disgruntled.
Well, I need to talk to Ron Steeman and get his full-fledged opinion, whether we can pin it on somebody, and then, my opinion might change, but I need that.
My opinion?
Right.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, that's where it is right now.
Right.
Woo!
Alright, well, that's all. I mean, at least you did take time to talk to me. So, and I know where it's at. But like I said, you know me at the same time. You know me. I'm not going to lay down on this.
You're not going to stop calling. You're not going to stop asking questions, and that's fine. Every right to do that. But, there's certain things that that aren't going to be released. So.
But I'm just saying that if you really look at it, I mean, the small partial of the evidence is that whatever happened in Mackenzie's room, or if it did happen in Mackenzie's room, we don't have that stuff. There's nothing there. You're chasing a ghost when a detective back then did not do his job by taking photographs and evidence and, I mean, I'm not stupid, and you ought to know that by now, that, wherever the last place a body is found, they're supposed, right immediately, supposed to start collecting evidence and everything. Immediately. I mean, we don't even have the clothes that she had at night.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's things that we don't have that could make this case better. Don't have them. So I'm not concerned about that because
I'm not concerned.
I'm looking at this case for what it is, not for what it's not.
Woo!
Right. Well, what it is
what it is and what it's not.
Homicide.
Oh. All right. Well, I gotta run.
Yep.
So I will see. I'll see what I can do if I get in touch with fire marshal. So.
All right.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Alright, you guys, so y'all heard that. Y'all heard that right there? That's the prosecutor. Okay? First of all, when we talked about the exhuming, he said, well, we're trying to see if there was anything on the outside. They already knew that my daughter was washed. They already knew there was no DNA on the outside because the coroner of Montgomery County said they would have checked for that if the child would have came as a homicide, not as an accident. And Fayette County knew from day one that it was a homicide. The time when the firemen came out of that house and said, this is a suspicious fire, we're calling the fire marshal, that became immediately a crime scene. Instead, if you guys can hear, it gives me the runaround on everything. And we're going to do this, Kate. We're going to do it as what it is, not what it was. I mean, come on, man. And I expect this person to prosecute the people that did this? They'll never see a day in jail. This is the whole reason of the Mackenzie GoFundMe. This is the whole reason for me to raise money and to get this case out of Fayette County. I asked him questions, and you guys heard my questions. I demanded stuff. I asked, and the whole time it was a runaround. The whole time he tried to change the subject, or I can't do this, I can't. And then he tells me, the father, well, I can't make nobody do. You're building the case to prosecute somebody. You have every right as a prosecutor to tell the sheriff's office, I want these people's DNA checked. I want these people brought in and a lie detector test taken. I want these people brought in and questioned. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm not, and please understand this. And I'm pouring out my heart. I love everybody that's on here. I love all the supporters. But you guys got to understand, if the table was turned, and it was me, and it was my house, and my daughter, and it was the mother on the other side doing this, this would not have gone 13 years. I'd be in prison today with no evidence. Just because I was a male, I was in that home, and there was DNA found inside my daughter where an arson and a homicide happened. I'm telling you guys, this is the God's honest truth. I would be in jail doing time over my... And the bad part about it, they tried to pin this on me. They knew exactly where I was that night. They knew exactly how much I loved my daughter. And they still tried to pin this on me for 3 fucking years. They tried to make it look like I did this. And when I fought back and told them, you dumb son of a bitches, that's when all this shit... And the whole time they were trying to pin this on me, the ones that were guilty, they were destroying it and getting rid of it so those two could walk free. And I'm proving that because it's 13 years they have breathed my air and been a free person. That's why when everybody says on here, hey, contact a lawyer. Right there's a lawyer. He's a prosecutor. They don't care in this town what happened to that little girl. Because you know why? They know who did it. And whoever did it had power over the ones that were investigating this crime scene. That's the God's honest truth. Because you even heard it out of his mouth. We knew about the DNA. He said that. They knew the DNA was profiled in 2012. They knew that. But what did he do? He didn't even wanted to talk about the rape. Oh, well, we're going to talk to the fire marshal. Do you know what? I just had a meeting. Oh, Holly, when was it? 4 or 5 months ago we were there. We went to that meeting. I was in a meeting. Point blank. I was in a meeting with BCI. And that fire marshal sat right across the table from me, and his exact words was, I haven't spoke to nobody in Fayette County in over 2 years. I'm telling you right now, my daughter's case is bigger than just the rape and the fire and the murder of my little girl. And whatever it takes, however much money it takes, I am going to prove the guilty party in this crime of my little girl. And it shouldn't matter whether I'm a male or a female. The people of the United States, the people of this world should back me 100% because I have never lied and I have never put out fake news at all on my child because it's about my daughter, not about anybody else. This is Ryan McFarland. This is the detective.
To the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. Here you go, Chuck.
Yeah, Mark. Did one of those things start out, you and Mary Ann were talking, and she accused you of cheating on her and said something like that, and then the conversation went into her meeting at the Coliseum or something like that? Was that one of the things you're talking about?
No. There was two of them.
Yeah. There's a bunch of tapes. I'm still...
So there's two tapes. And they look like, they're tapes.
Just regular size cassettes.
Regular size cassettes. They're black and gold. But the thing of it is, like I was saying, is the tapes that I had, like with Dusty Roots on it and all that stuff, Evil Hall came, they got it all. They sent me back the exact tape gave them and copied everything to a CD. And that's what I don't understand. And I have a signed affidavit that was with me at the time when I turned the tapes over to Detective Brown. Because, like I said, Mary Ann talks about the fire. She even, on one of the tapes, she even says, why didn't they test for diesel fuel? She even talks about the kerosene heater. She talks about where she exited in and out of the building, all that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And I need those tapes.
Okay. I'm still looking. I've got to listen to them to see.
The reason why is, it's nothing against you, like I said. You came into this and Detective Brown died. And I told you that I wouldn't hold you reliable for anything because you just came into this. All this stuff was presented, and you know what I'm saying before.
And it's hard for me to play catch up on a lot of this stuff and remember.
But here's the problem you have, though. And I'm not saying this in a way, and I don't want you to take this in a rude way.
Thank you, Steve.
You have nothing. You have nothing. What do you have? I mean, the clothes are destroyed, so you'll never be able to do anything with those. The ladder's gone, then you'll never do anything with that. If it wasn't for me finding that coroner's report, you wouldn't even have that, which, when you read that coroner's report, and you sit here and tell me, because you're a detective, that ain't going to explain a lot. It does.
It says
because here's the thing, the firemen had no reason to lie.
Right.
They had no reason whatsoever to lie about what they saw when they got to that scene. They had no time with Eve. They had no time with Mary Ann. They had nothing. You know what I'm saying? They told what they saw. And the biggest thing that's catching everybody's eyes is the hesitation of the 20 minutes telling somebody that that child was in the house. And you know well as I do, that 2 minutes makes a big difference on how Mackenzie would have come out of that house 20 minutes earlier. Let her know, too.
That's letter.
This is the letter.
How many times have you seen it for English?
I don't know. Quite a few times to read it. And my wife also. She's the one that opened it up. But you can see the licking part, still sealed. She tore this away. And that's the letter. I want you to sign that one. That's just a statement I give you. But see that right there? That's what I was looking for. See that funny how they wrote my Donald? That D right there? That's a weird, you know what I'm saying? That's like a one-of-a-kind D. And you can tell that here's what I saw bigger than crystal glasses. Look at this right here. This is what I call them real quick too. See that right there, that zip code? Okay. At first they were putting 43128. See it? Which is Jeffersonville's zip code. And then they realized that they put their own zip code and then they changed it to 6 and a 0. You see how darkened the 0 real quick over the 8?
I don't see the 2 and the 6, but I see that something's over the 0's changed. I see the 6.
Okay, now take away the top of that. See where that line goes right there? The line goes towards the 0. And then there's a little 2. 41, 2. See how it,
I don't see it.
But then see the 8 in there inside the circle?
Of course you don't see it. You ain't a fucking detective.
Well, here's my question about this. And I want to know the answer on this. Because this is my house. This is my family, and this is my, you know what I'm saying? I don't need an incident where I'm going to end up hurting somebody coming to my house, trying to shut me up. I believe this was wrote by 2 people. Derek Myers or Leonard Sines. That's who I believe wrote it. That's who I believe it came from.
And either one of those could. It could be either one of those. I mean, it could be. Okay, here's what I want to do. I don't want to touch it. Because I don't want my fingerprints on it, and it can't be in that plastic bag.
Oh, it can't be?
Cannot be. So I want you to hear it for me. Okay. Don't touch it. Touch it the least amount you can.
I mean, I'm touched it, dude.
This is the lead detective.
You and Ken have to stand up to the sheriff's office and have fingerprints done, because I have to send elimination prints in with this.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to know who wrote it. And if we don't have fingerprints on it, we have, what do you call it, DNA on that where they licked it, that tells me if somebody knows what they're doing. They don't want to be caught.
Well, and that's, they really have to think about it in order to not touch it. You know, they had to, before they start, they had to have latex gloves. You know, from the time they got that piece of paper out of where they got it from, it can't be touched, you know. So they really had to think about that. Now, as far as the licking thing,
yeah,
you wouldn't surprise me if it is just
wet, right, so a lot of people do that nowadays. Now, this here I gave to Jesse Weed. And this is something I think you need to know. I don't know if you know yet, but it's something you need to know. That was sent to me on Facebook. And I can show you on Facebook. Yeah, now he took the name, Jesse Weed took the name down, he wrote witness beside it, and he's supposed to have these 2 drugs tested.
More evidence, I just gave them more evidence.
know me. I've never been drug use to anybody.
I know where the house was buried.
Me and you never actually sat down and like really gone over what I have, you have it, and my stories of me and Mary Ann's relationship. And one of the things, Mary Ann gave my kids Benadryl all the time. I caught her when I was up in the middle of the night when the babies would scream. She would be giving them Benadryl because Benadryl will make them go right back to sleep. And then I got some woman come.
I told them that before. That's what he just said.
That's Mary Ann admitted giving, a child Benadryl. Now, I don't know as far as how she is or technology.
She's saying what her sister Kathy's last name is there?
They don't know her?
She said it's my sister Kathy. Her name's Friday. I'm guessing she's probably married.
Yeah. I thought maybe she listed it right here. So Kathy Lewis and Jeff. Yeah.
Oh, Kathy Pierce Wilson. Right?
Pierce Wilson. There you go. And the thing is, man, I mean, like I said, I talked to Ron Steeman yesterday, the day before. And I told him, I said, you're going to give Ryan all the benefit of this. But at the same token, you got to understand my point of view with Brian. Now, I know you guys are going to say, well, this, and everything. But there's so many fingers pointing at Vernon Stanford and Mike Stevens with the cover and not part. Now, I don't know what part of the investigation you're doing in this. I don't understand the thing, but I had a conversation with Vernon on the phone, and he yelled and screamed at me and everything but a white man. Because I got the media involved in it. You gotta understand, this is 11 years, okay? In 11 years, 10 years, the Fayette County Sheriff's Office had this case. 10 years, y'all had it. 10 years it didn't go nowhere. And you cannot bring me one thing and sit there and say, here's what we've done in 2009. Here's what we did in 2001. But since I took over, which I warned everybody I was going to do what I was going to do, and in less than since January of 2017 till now, look what I found.
As far as the cover-up here, I'm not going to get into it, but I want you to think about something. From the beginning, the state fire marshal was involved in it.
Yes.
So they would have to help cover up stuff.
How? Because he said that ladder was sitting in the evidence room on the wall.
In our evidence room?
Yep. That's where Ron Stevens saw it. Nope. Actually was there in the evidence room against the wall.
Guarantee it wasn't.
Guarantee it was.
Guarantee it wasn't, because I am part of the pretty
back with Hebrews, yes, it was. And I don't believe Ron Stevens got a reason to lie that he saw the ladder thing. And I saw the ladder.
The same ladder, but
the ladder was in the back of that truck. A little truck like that right there with a cap on it. I saw the ladder at the crime scene in the truck, in her vehicle. I mean, here's the thing, you don't lose a ladder.
Here's something. Okay. The state fire marshal's been involved in it for one.
Okay.
That's how it happened. Because they're the one that made the determination it was arson in the first place.
Right.
Okay. CI has looked at this. And investigated this.
He tried to investigate this. But go ahead. I'm not arguing with you.
This case is sent to a private think tank, a group of people who sit down, who are law enforcement people, and they sit and discuss it and look at it and do other things. And try to piece apart it and see what it is. None of those people have ever said anything about anything being covered up. And I want you to know that
Hey Patrick, how you doing, buddy?
Allow that to happen. If something had been covered up, I would take
okay, but you showed me, bring me one officer to my house. Bring one officer to my house, and I'll shut up about it. Bring one officer to my house that tells me those clothes weren't relevant to this case.
There's nothing we can do about the clothes now, Donald.
No, I know. But bring one officer to my house that can say those clothes are not relevant to this case.
I don't know if any of them might say that.
Lauren, he don't live here.
Say that.
He lives in Colorado.
For later testing.
Yeah.
And Patrick gave me all the information, and I turned it over to the sheriff's office, and they still haven't contacted him. Actually, Patrick was even listed on their sheriff report the night of the fire.
You gotta think about
And
it.
I contacted Patrick, we talked, and he gave me all the information, and I gave it to the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. His cell phone number, his address, and everything, and they still today have not contacted him.
Right, but here's the thing. If you look at this right here, this is the best thing ever came out. And it tells you exactly about everything you're supposed to do. Just like it says the first thing you're supposed to do, and Ron Steeman agreed with this, and so did some other detectives. The first thing, every fire is supposed to be treated as an arson first, then proved as an accident. Arson first.
All right, thank you, Lauren.
That way you start doing your crime scene beat. Okay? And even in this statement right here, which this was published in 1991, right after, and then it was right in when the 9/11 happened, because there was errors made in that. The thing of it is close one, but just Marion and Kenny. Okay? It says even in here, the remaining victims are supposed to be brought in immediately and interviewed, which they weren't.
Okay, well, that whole logic has changed.
Here we go.
That's why this is in 1991. I have been to plenty of schools on interviewing victims. You do not do that now.
Why?
3 sleep cycles.
We mean 3 sleep
cycles. People need to sleep 3 because if you have a traumatic experience, your brain does not function the way it should, and you don't remember things, and you don't say the right things until after the sleep cycle.
Okay, well, even after 3 sleep cycles, now you got, that would be stupid because it also says you're supposed to remove any clothing and on those victims to see if there was any signs of fuel or whatever was used to set my daughter's house on fire. You know what I'm saying? Then you got, let's go back to the pickup truck. You can't sit here and tell me that pickup truck should have been able to drive away from that crime. That took me a minute. You all have
Sleep cycle, 3-day sleep cycle. We send murder people home. We send people that murder people home. They sleep for 3 days and then they're brought in for questioning.
I cannot do anything today. You can't, I can't, no one can do anything today to change things. It's not going to happen. If you continue to dwell on those things, you're just pissing yourself off because we can do anything that, is there anything that you know of that we can do to change any of that stuff now?
No, because
We have to do what
you're never
we've
going to
got
find a
now.
truck and you ain't going to be able to use it. I already know the truth is, once evidence like we talked about for stuff that Marianne took out of Mackenzie's room, we can't even go to her house and get that stuff. And there's good hair on there that said who was in that room. But we can't do nothing. Because how can we prove that that hair wasn't put afterwards?
Right.
So, and I know that, I know what you're saying. But still, you got to understand, you got kids, right?
Yes.
So you got to understand why I'm pissed off.
I understand that. But we can't change any of it now. We need to work with what we've got and move forward.
Okay, now that, what do we have? Honestly, what do we have?
Well, we just exhumed her body.
Yeah, and
that stuff needs to go for
okay, and that's another question too. Why haven't I gotten the preliminary on that yet?
Preliminary on what?
The preliminary pathology.
We haven't done it yet.
Preliminary? I'm not saying I know what a
They're not doing, hold on.
This.
Hold on. They're not doing that again.
Why?
They are doing in addition to that.
Okay, why, I don't understand when I got this receipt, these papers, this what Dr. J gave me, this is what Montgomery County got.
Right.
Well, where was the pathology one?
That is pathology.
That's toxology. Pathology would show where you all tested skin tissue.
That's pathology.
Where?
This is toxicology.
That's toxicology. There's no...
Dumbass.
I know. What did they do?
I don't know. That's not how they do it.
What did they do?
Pathology on our reports.
Why? You don't know if they checked under her fingernails, her skin tube? No one...
Is it in there?
Nope. There ain't nothing in there about fingernails. Ain't nothing in there that they...
Because that will show in this report, when it gets to the
what I'm saying is preliminary is, this is a preliminary report. That's what it's called.
no, this is the post-mortem examination. This
Well,
is
it's preliminary because it would not tell me what you all actually found if there was something you found.
no,
that
this
was
is
a
not a
trial.
preliminary report. This is the coroner's report. This is the autopsy report. That is the coroner's verdict.
Right.
That's all there is.
Why is that all there is, though?
Because that's what they do. That's what they give us. But if you go through here and they would have done some things,
They say nothing in there about skin underneath nails, if they check fingernails.
it would have been stated in here.
It's not.
I understand that.
It's what they all would have did,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It It's not.
So what was done here? That?
Yes, we were doing things to make sure everything, we have everything that we need to have. That's best.
Okay, now what about drugs? What about like the 2 drugs I mentioned? Were they tested for drugs too? No.
No longer involved.
We need no longer involved.
The drugs don't have certain alcohol.
Really?
They don't last long.
7 years. They did have a person that checked for drugs, and it's called crystal light. That's where they check for crystals. That's how they found out that people nowadays were murdered by people using antifreeze, by crystal lights. You understand what I'm saying? So then by me giving those 2 drugs to distribute him sending it over to Montgomery County wouldn't have done him any good anyway, because they ain't what they weren't checking for.
If they still have her sample there,
Shouldn't have it though. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing that should be destroyed until this case is final. But everything that they did over there should have went into wherever they put it at. Their blood, the child's blood, their hair. But see, that's the thing. I don't know what their results are. See, I have her hair. After her death. I have it. So I can have it tested. Because I got it. Because they Marl cut her hair for me in the envelope. So I have like 20-something samples of her hair. But that's what I'm saying. I don't understand Montgomery County theory on this that, okay, Fayette County saying they don't need none of this, so we'll just get rid of it.
I don't know either.
Because
Dr. K made that call.
when there's
I don't know
a
if Dr. K and Phil Brown had a conversation or not. I can't tell you that. I don't know if Dr. K called us in.
But here's the other thing too. Okay, we know that Dr. K never went in her room either. He never sealed off the seat. You know what I'm saying? Taped it off. He did not remove any sheets. They did not remove any sheets. They did not remove any stuffed animals. Because Mary Ann has that now. But they didn't remove nothing, and I don't understand that part either. Crime scenes have always been the same for years. For years. Mackenzie died in 2006.
We're back to the same place.
No, we're not.
Okay, so what do we got? Well, you tell me how in the world we're going to live.
There may be.
Please do not tell me what Bernie said. We're going to sit here and wait till somebody walks in this office and kind of says, okay, Ryan the bar and I did it. Please don't tell me that's what you're basing this case on.
We have to send the things and get them examined from exhumed the body.
Okay? And if there's
Hopefully, our hope is that that will tell us something.
okay. When we get a chance, me and you need to sit down, because I did do a medium. I've never done one in my entire life. A medium when they talk to the dead. Okay? That medium, I want you to listen to that. Because she mentioned stuff on that tape that there's no way this woman, she's from Texas, and I'm getting ready to do another one with her. There's no way, lady, to find out any of this information. And one of the things that she mentioned on that tape, which you probably don't even know it because I'm discussing with you, but me and Ron Steeman discussed it right after the fire, that Mackenzie had a padlock out on her bedroom door. Okay? Oh, I didn't tell you about that. Okay. That meeting talked about that in this thing. And what Mackenzie's telling about the bedroom, and she even, Mackenzie said that there was evidence on the bed and on her clothes. This woman is from Texas. Somebody else paid for this to be done for me. Now the lady's doing it for free. But I would like to, I take the medium thing, the whole,
Was there other?
no, it was where you do like
Skype or something?
yeah, where I'm looking at her and she's looking at me. But this lady, she never asked a question. She never said, you know how some people will feed off of what your answer is. Never answers me a question. But I would love to listen to it just to see, because there's nothing wrong with those people. I've seen law enforcement use them before. Remember that lady Judy Brown was her name, or Sylvia Brown? She used to be on TV. She did a lot with the law. Now she's probably in her 90s. But there's no reason, you know what I'm saying? I know those people can lead you to something that you're not looking at.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Yeah, that's true.
Mackenzie kept talking about also in this uncle. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you've interviewed Jamie Potter or not. I don't know if you have.
Nope.
No, I haven't.
But I believe...
No, I haven't. Right there.
A lot longer than what he's saying. A lot longer than what he's saying. And if you go by my theory, and it's a theory, like you said, you do listen to me, and I know you do. I believe Jamie wasn't there to pick up 2 pizzas. I believe Jamie was there to actually pick Mackenzie up. And I believe Mackenzie didn't want to go. And I believe the reason she didn't want to go is because I believe he was one of them that was Mackenzie. You know what I'm saying? Sexually. I'm not saying that he penetrated her, but I believe he was doing something, you know what I'm saying? And I believe that was her fear. She didn't want to go, and that's why she made a comment. I'm going with my dad this weekend. I'm not going with you. And he said
Yes,
to her
Steve.
that he was there, was telling her that he was getting her that weekend, that Mary Ann and Kenny were leaving that weekend. And so here's Jamie with that story, but then Mary Ann says, in a statement, and I've got statements, so Mary Ann, she said that Mackenzie was having a yard sale that weekend. They were having a yard sale. So why would Jamie say the statement he made, Mackenzie was leaving with him, and Mary Ann saying they weren't going anywhere? That, see what I'm saying? That's two family members, and they both got two different stories. One said they were going to be there that weekend, they were having a yard sale. Jamie says they were leaving out of town, and Mackenzie was there going to go with him, and she made the comment, no, I'm not, I'm going with my dad, and I'm not coming back.
We get conflicting shit all the time. People,
but here's the thing, everything
I lie to us all the time.
But right, but here's the thing, what I have, and that's what I would love to do, sit down with you and go over what I have, because I have statements from Mary Ann on
Never done it.
Facebook, okay? And it shows her pictures, shows her making a statement, and she talks about everything. She even blames me for this and that. So there, you know, it's not like. But here's the thing too. Me and Mary Ann were not having no conflict when Mackenzie died at all. I was giving that woman money all the time. Mackenzie was coming to my bar and borrowing $25 from me. Well, not borrowing it, but asking for $25 for lunch money. Then I found out Mackenzie died that
Window.
she was on free lunch. She didn't need lunch money. Then I find out Mary Ann was using the $25 to pay a tanning salon.
Ivanita.
So I'm paying for a tanning thing. See what I'm saying? And Mary Ann don't spoke up with anybody that they've already tried. See, I already know that, and I believe this. You were going to say, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know I was my daughter's memorial.
Here we go.
At her memorial that I did at
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Sheriff's office.
What do you mean?
Okay, when I got to the scene, and I'm going to tell you something, I'm not a dumb person. You guys keep underestimating me thinking I'm stupid. When I get to the scene, to my daughter's memorial thing that I held in the newspaper and everything.
Oh, not when we did the exit.
No.
Okay.
Two sheriffs were sitting at the fire station. When we pulled into the grave, my daughter's grave's out here. There's a line and there's trees right here. Okay? For years and years visiting my daughter's grave, I was always allowed to park right there. But over here is a little house. Little white house, you know that one house. Here sits a worker on a Saturday. Got cones all down there so nobody could park there. Now, I'm over here, right here, I'm about right here. Mary Ann's family's right here, the Potter. Okay? They're here, we're over here. All of a sudden, here comes William Potter walking down through here. Look, over there, and I see William walking down through the path, the gravel road. And then that truck sits over, and he has his camera up, and he's filming everything. Now, Mary Ann shows up, and she meets him, and then they walk over here and go right next to Mary Potter. Okay? Now, this guy's filming everything. Come all the way down here so nobody can park there, and I know why, because if anybody had trucks or anything like that, he wouldn't be able to film the scene. First of all, I wasn't going to beat his ass. I wasn't going to beat Mary Ann's ass, and if that's what the Vernon Stamper wanted me to do was commit a crime and $1.
So you're saying that Vernon had somebody sitting right
I believe it. Sure.
I gotta go.
Wait for it.
Who would you think, why would they sit there in a city, in a Jeffersonville Township truck? Why would they do it?
Because anybody can film stuff, the same reason Derek Myers films stuff, and anybody else walking down the street films stuff. Everybody's got a video camera. I'm not going to stand here and listen to that. We had nothing to do with that, and I'm not putting up with y'all. I am not. I've heard for the last time how the sheriff's office is against you or doing whatever to fuck this up, and it's not true.
Why you not cussing at me like that?
I'm not cussing at you.
Really, you did this. Why you not cussing at me? I'm going to tell you what, this is my daughter. So you walk away like that?
I heard for the last time.
He's leaving me. He's leaving me. He's pissed.
That question flying every dick question who I am. And I would never do anything like that. And if I wanted to film it, or Vernon wanted to film it, I would know about it. It would have been filming. I would have been out there doing it. So I don't want to hear that crap. I'm over.
Okay, well, I see where we're going with this then.
I'm doing this for
I see where we're going with this then. I see where we're going. For what now? What did you say?
I'm doing this for Mackenzie. I'm not doing this for you.
What are you talking about for me? I never said this was about me. I never said this was about me.
Everything there was fine. Everything was fine up until I said cover up. As soon as I said cover up, all hell broke loose in my garage.
And I got a question.
Here we go.
Steve Levine today from Channel 6 News.
This is Vernon, the sheriff.
Steve Levine from Chance News.
Okay.
And he had told Rick that you had mentioned to him that you guys got autopsy reports back from Mackenzie's exhuming. And you told him they were inconclusive.
I didn't tell him that. He was in the office about the shooting we had last week.
Yeah.
And on the way out the door, he said, have you got anything on the little girl that died in the fire at the exhibition? I said, nothing I could talk to you about.
Okay.
That was an extended conversation.
Okay. But I thought we would have known before a news channel would have.
Yeah, he mentioned that, and I just eventually told him nothing that I could talk about. So, I didn't say anything to him. It was about probably a 20-second conversation.
Has anything come back yet?
Well, I don't know. I think they may have, or I've talked to the coroner's office, but I don't know what that conversation is of. And I can't tell you that what he is or he isn't, because we've had several things talked about, but I know I've not talked about the results. I've not seen any results. I can check Monday, client back in, I would think if there was something, they would have told us there was something. That doesn't mean that they even know yet. I mean, I can't honestly tell you they even know. I mean, I don't recall.
I know Rick has called Ryan and left him a few messages, but Ryan never gotten back with him or called him back or anything.
Yeah, I don't anticipate him having anything, finding anything. It's not likely. But I can't tell you that that's actually, I don't know. I don't want to tell you something that's not accurate.
Okay. I just kind of wondered, because it's been a while. I figured something should have been back by now.
Well, I would think, but once again, I know they're busy doing hundreds of other autopsies on the overdose thing. But I don't communicate with the coroner's office that often. But if they had something, I'm assuming they would have called and said we got something, but if they don't have anything, it's just one of those things that eventually tell us. And they may have. I mean, I don't want to stay here and tell you yes or no.
Okay.
But Steve Levine just took that in. If he didn't do anything with it, he was just fishing. He thought he was on the run. Whether he called you or he called him, that was probably a fishing expedition he was doing. So.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the call back.
And I would not have told him anything that I had. But if there was something here to talk to you, I'd talk to you first. So.
Yeah.
I would have had the conversation with him. Like I said, it was a 20-second conversation. She walked the door after that interview shooting.
Okay.
Alrighty. I'll try to check Monday and we'll get back with you.
You gonna give me a call or you gonna give Rick a call?
Well, whatever. I'll get this. I didn't leave your number. It's the first time I've got your number that day. I can give you a call, but Rick's not been talking with me since vaccination.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let him know. We'll hear back from you Monday.
Okay, that'll work.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You heard the sheriff. He said, well, Rick hasn't been talking to me. Yeah, no shit. You wonder why? He said right there, he said, I don't believe there's anything, they're going to find anything there. But I don't want to say that, but you know what? They did find DNA inside of her again the second time when we exhumed her. Sounds like to me he was hoping that they didn't find anything, but they did inside of her again. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys, man. This is why I'm fighting as hard as I am fighting. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why the sheriff's office pretty much ordered nobody to talk to me, because they know when they talk to me, I'm going to tape them. And they know when I tape them, I'm going to expose them, because I already know the truth. I already know who's behind my daughter's death, who raped my daughter. I'm almost there, but shutting me down, I mean, what are you trying to accomplish? This is about my little girl. This is about my baby. This is about a little girl that went to bed that night, that trusted people supposed to protect her. Instead, they murdered her. I don't care how anybody wants to look at this crime scene. What the evidence I have points to the directions that the evidence points to. And the thing of it is, don't sit here and try to tell me you don't have enough circumstantial evidence alone, actions of a mother, to get an indictment. If you're telling me you don't, then you don't know your job, and you shouldn't be where you're at. This is the stuff I'm going through in my community. This is the stuff that these people are getting away with, and enough is enough. I'm going to stop them one way or another. You know, your husband don't want to talk to me. You're damn right I don't want to talk to you, because every time I talk to you, you lie. I mean, I got another audio of Vernon and what he told me here at my house. I haven't yet got it downloaded yet. I had to go get the tape. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead. We'll play one more if you guys want me to. It's up to you guys. I see there's almost, 50-some people still on here. You want me to play another one? Here's Dr. Mesker. This is me talking to our new corner now. Our new corner. So listen to what he's got to say.
I wish I got better news for you, but I was wondering why it was taking so long to get this stuff, and apparently the information I requested isn't available even to me. It's still an ongoing investigation.
Man, they can't use that excuse. You're the corner.
No. If it doesn't directly apply to what the coroner did, then I don't have any say in it. So because it isn't the evidence that I collected.
Okay, but you're the active coroner, right? And you said you're also a Mackenzie advocate.
Oh yeah. So I said that, and they said that this is still an ongoing investigation, and that's public record. So I have. It never was released to begin with, so they can't release it now. I did. Now you got I heard you got a copy of the.
Yes, I do.
Of the report the dictated report that Dr. Gay had, and it was tried by that woman you know, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got it.
So what did it say?
I got a copy for it.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And when you read it, you'll understand why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
Like I said, there's some stuff in here where Dr. Gay talked to the firemen, you know what I'm saying? And one of the things that he brought to the attention in this report, why now I know why it was missing, is her truck, the mother's truck, was sitting in the middle of the road with the car doors open and the engine was running. But supposedly she woke up to the fire.
So all that is kind of in the report that Dr. Gay did.
Oh yeah, it tells it here, and it describes her clothes. And in this report, it describes her clothes that she had on that night. And it even says, it does not say the clothes were singed. It says the clothes were wet. But in the fire marshal, we're talking about wet like what? Wet from water? Wet from accelerant being on them? Wet from what? We'll never know because the clothes were destroyed.
Yeah, they were, unfortunately.
And it's about everybody he talked to at the scene. But what caught my eye too was he even talked to Joyce Danforth at the scene.
Oh, okay.
Which is Vernon Stanforth's wife.
Yeah.
And she gave a statement. I don't understand why in the world she gave a statement when she wasn't there. She was at my house 5:30 in the morning and then left my house and went to this. And why she gave the statement she gave, she even put in here, it's reported that the father hated the mother's boyfriend, Mr. Mossbarger.
Oh? Well, I would like to see a copy of that. You said you have a copy for me?
Yes, sir. What I would do is I'm going to give you a copy, but what I'm going to do is when I meet with you, I will give you the name of the lady that typed this up so that she can bring in the computer because it'll be the actual, you know what I'm saying. It's in her computer, but it actually has, you can tell it was done that night, when Dr. Gate, all that information. Huh?
What's her name?
Holly?
Holly?
Yeah, Holly, like Holly.
Holly, yeah, okay.
And I gotta look on my Facebook to see what her last name is.
Is there a number I can reach her at? Let me find out. I don't know. She talked to me through, you know what I'm saying? Through Facebook, because once she found it in the computer, she emailed it over to me. Oh, you have an email now?
Well, my wife does. I don't.
Okay. So.
But here's the thing. This is what you said you didn't have.
I did not have that.
And this is what you said you went to.
Listen to this.
There
were no. Yeah, that was at the time.
Right.
That Dr. Gay died, which were like within a year of his death. So that was all the older cases. They were gone.
Right.
So I don't.
But I don't understand why this.
He didn't have anything else at his house.
Well, I remember you said on the last thing filed in her case was May 31st, 2006.
Okay.
That's what you told me that was last filed in her files or whatever. And I asked you why the destroying of the clothes wasn't filed because that wasn't until August, and that should have been put in there.
Yeah, so you're right. What I have, I did not have any of that, and that's the record requested. So that it's been a few weeks, so I don't apparently have the authority to request those for you. So.
And they told me that too. And when I called Montgomery County Coroner's office,
I've been told again it's an ongoing investigation. Anything that had not been released already, apparently, they're not releasing. So.
But here's the thing: if it comes down to a trial, we're going to be the coroner brought in.
Here's what I'm going to also do. I'm going to bring this up to my legal representation, which is Jess Weed here in town.
Right.
And see what we legally can do.
Alright, so there's me talking to the new coroner. And the new coroner said he went out to Dr. Gay's house, because that's where Mackenzie's files were, and asked his wife. And when he went out to ask his wife where Mackenzie's files was, there was 2 pieces of paper in that file. And now he's the active coroner. He's in charge now of Mackenzie's case. He was the assistant for Dr. Gay during my daughter's murder, and Fayette County's telling him he ain't allowed to have nothing. He ain't allowed to have zero at all. Lauren, I'll get with you later on that. It was not allowed to have anything. He, more or less, they shut down the coroner. The coroner is the leading investigator of that crime. He's the one that pronounces the person dead. He's the one that does the preliminary autopsy to determine whether it's foul play, no foul play, murder. You know, my daughter was shot, stabbed, you know, all that stuff. He's the leading investigator. He's also the leading investigator on working with the Fayette County Sheriff's Office on what to collect at the crime scene. So don't tell me that the coroner has no rights at all. That's a fucking lie. This is what I run into. What it is, and this is what's happened. I'll guarantee you this. That sheriff has made his phone calls when he saw the stuff that I was doing, and he shut everybody down. He shut everybody down that can discuss anything with me, give me anything. The whole reason, that's why what happened. There is a chain of command, which I did. I was supposed to call my active coroner, ask for the photographs of my daughter and all that. He refused to return any calls. Montgomery County said, you make sure you do 3 phone calls, you leave 3 messages. Hell, I went up in the hospital while he was working to ask to request him to talk to me, and was refused. Because he refused, then Montgomery County contacted our coroner, and the coroner refused to talk to him. So by doing chain of command, I was able for Montgomery County to release all information to me. But don't tell me, when I know the Ohio law, that an active coroner is a nobody, that he has no rights to anything, because it's an ongoing investigation. He's the one that determines the whole crime scene, pretty much. He's the one that determines how my daughter died. The coroner is the one that signs a death certificate, which is the one that put it on my daughter's death certificate, homicide. And the coroner in the state of Ohio is the only public official that can arrest and charge a sheriff. Can literally arrest a sheriff. So they're full of shit. I did my homework.
That report.
What's that?
The Dr.
Wait a minute, that one says Ryan. Let me see.
That report.
What's that?
The Dr. Gay's report that was missing.
Okay, where'd you get that at?
Well, why do you need to know where I got it at? I mean, I'm just saying I got it.
Well, I understand that, but I'm glad you got it. In order for us to use that in court for the prosecutor use it, the document has to be authenticated.
Okay.
Otherwise, not making something up or something like that. That's the only reason I asked.
Okay. Well, how about we set up a meeting, me and you. How about I'll hand you a copy of what the coroner's
Dr.
report.
Phil won't do
And
shit.
then I will also give you the name and where that document was in. I know you mentioned to me about sending it to, if you needed to, you could send it to BCI, whatever. And that person already took they had no problem with that. That way, it's coming off of what it should be coming off of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you got to understand my point in this. We know, A, the clothes were destroyed. B, we know that there was a report missing. And Mesker confirmed that because, like he said, he went to Dr. Gay's house and asked him about that certain handwritten. It's called a handwritten report, but you know what I'm saying. It's one where he goes through and he talks to people and da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? So, but my question of it is, I mean, once you look at it, you can tell it's for real. It's not fake. I don't understand why Joy Stanford gave a statement, it seems. Joy Stanford, Vernon's wife.
I don't know.
But she gave a statement at the scene. In her statement, at the bottom of the statement, she even put down, it is reported that the father hates the mother's boyfriend, Mr. Mossbarger. So now I know why the sheriff's office wasted 3 years of not clearing me when they knew exactly where I was, and were more important looking at towards me, towards higher. Number two, me and you discussed about the pickup truck. And you said that was a red to you. And in this report, it states that the truck was running.
Okay.
So not only was the doors opened, and Mary Ann's cell phone in on the front seat, which has been confirmed not only by your department, but also by Ron Steeman, the fire marshal. But now also the truck was running.
Okay.
And the thing is, you was talking to me the other day or the day before, and you said to me, that the truck, was a red flag, and that there was a possibility that Mary Ann and Kenny came to the fire and might have been eaten out or, in a movie or whatever, and they might not actually know what really happened and who would have done it. But my question to you is for you to sit there and think that, well, I'm not going to say that. You to sit there and say that, you're going to check into the truck, the issue with the truck. But if that was true, and follow me on this, if that was true, that would have cleared Mary Ann and Kenny as far as the fire part. If that was true. And that would be something that any normal person would come right off the bat and say, hey, I wasn't here, man. I just came with my truck. The house was on fire, blah, blah, blah. The only question that she would have had to answer is then, A, who left the child there, alone, which we talked about that. There's quite a few parents that leave kids home alone. And B, if not, who was in the house with Mackenzie. Either A, she was left alone, or B, she was with somebody babysitting her. So, but then again, why would Mary Ann then tell 13 stories, including the first story that Mary Ann gave was the Record Herald, the day of the fire. And that story was that she woke up to popping and crackling noises. Now, for her to wake up to popping and crackling noises in the bedroom, saying that she spoke to Mackenzie, told Mackenzie to go to the window, and that she exited the back garage door, why then would the truck be sitting in the middle of the road with two doors open and running?
Right. Yeah, I get you. I know where you're coming from, so that's just something we got to look into and see if there's a little bit more there than what seems to be.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying, if Mary Ann, with all the years gone by, just think, there's been 11 years, she really hasn't put up a fight for her two sons. You understand what I'm saying? As in custody and seeing them. She ain't even seen them in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She was under supervised visits, and then she turned down the supervised visits, turned down the visits at Paint Valley. If she was driving that truck, I mean, come on, man. I mean, I would say, man, I wasn't there. I came in my truck, bam, I ran out of the truck.
She might be saying, the reason she may be sad is she knows that if she knows that she's going to be in trouble by not being there.
Okay.
And, that's serious trouble. I mean, if you leave your kid there and something happens, they die.
Right.
You get in serious trouble.
Right. Either way, she's in trouble. Either way, if she came to the fire scene and left my child there at 8 years old and somebody set this fire and killed my kid in it, then it's no different than the lady that, left her kid in the yard that drowned in the quarry. You know what I'm saying? Or if she was involved, she's in trouble that way too. No matter what, she's in trouble.
Right. So that's why that would be one reason why she might say, no, I don't want to say that we were gone, because I know if I do that, then I'm going to be in trouble for not being here.
Right, but not as much trouble.
But it's less trouble than
the murder.
What happened to
Right.
the fire.
Right. If she's involved in fire, it's more trouble that way than it is just leaving the child at home.
Right, exactly.
But as a parent, if you know as well as I do, when there's a crime scene, a fire, accident, whatever, there's only one way everything happens. There's only one story, not 13 stories. You understand what I'm saying? So even if we prove that she came there in that truck, even if we prove that she came there, she still held that for 11 years. She also made up 13 stories of, what happened that night in the fire. But just like Kenny's story of that he put the ladder up there, went in her room, tried to find her, and then you guys crushed that story immediately. Why would you tell that story? Even Kenny tell that story.
There we go.
He
About the ladder. He's going to witness the ladder.
Right, yeah.
But
I guess the reason what I heard now, the reason Kenny said that's because he was a firefighter. He wanted to be the hero, try to be the hero.
Right.
And that's why he made up that story.
yeah, but then when it comes out that he lied,
There you
that
go.
didn't make him look like a hero, did it?
Yeah, not at all.
And then, like I said, so my question is, and I'm glad you're on the truck. I mean, that's a big part of this case, because we know the truck was running. We know the truck was sitting in the middle of the road, and the fireman had to move it. We know that, so that somebody was in that truck. And if you look at it with two doors open, that means people were in that truck, because I just don't see somebody jumping out of the driver's side, leaving that door open and coming around and opening the passenger side. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly, yes.
I mean, that would be almost stupid. But the thing of it is, here's what I believe, and you always ask my theory on stuff, and I believe they know what happened with the fire. I believe they was in the house, but I don't believe they were in the house when the fire set. I believe, though, they jumped in that truck and was going to do exactly what you're looking into. They were going to pull off and then try to come back to the fire as people were arriving, to the fire. But I believe when they got in the truck and backing out, and that's why the truck was facing the railroad tracks, it wasn't facing Maple Street. It was facing the railroad tracks. I believe they panicked when they heard all the sirens, because if you're hearing sirens and you're in the truck and you're getting ready to leave, somebody has a better chance seeing you leaving the scene than coming to the scene.
Right.
And I think they jumped out of that when they heard the sirens and people coming. I think I think the fire part got out of their control to what they were planning. You know what I'm trying to say?
What, they planned?
Yeah, what Marion and Kenny
Yeah, what
planned.
they fucking planned.
So you think Marion and Kenny fired?
No, I believe they planned that fire. I believe I believe whatever happened in my daughter's bedroom, the fire was to cover up whatever happened in my daughter's room.
That's
We're going on the theory that they weren't home.
No, I didn't say that. I said they weren't in the house when the fire was set.
right.
But I'm kind of thinking that they weren't home.
Oh my
Because
God,
if
really?
you're driving down the street, let's say it came on Maple Street, down through
Right.
there, turn there toward the railroad tracks,
Right.
and come in and see the house on fire. They stop in front of the house, they get out of the truck, both on each side.
Okay?
That would make it logical. That would
Watch
be
me
logical
bust
for
this one.
The reason why the truck was in the road and both doors were open.
But it wouldn't make it logical as far as why would Kenny take his shirt off,
Right?
his shoes off,
Right.
and Marion take her shoes off?
Right?
Because Marion
That's true, too.
went to the house and asked for a pair of
That's
shoes.
true. That's true. Yeah, I just saw his logic
Also,
right
Kenny,
down the
you
fucking
would be
drain.
fully dressed. You wouldn't be running around banging on doors half naked. If you're coming there to the house. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But you would be half naked or no shirt on, or if you're exiting, if you're leaving the scene and was going to come back to the scene. But then there's a lot of holes in her conversation there, because one conversation, Marianne says, your witnesses of the night of the fire are the best, because they were standing there, they talked to Marianne. But even in this report, the fireman said in the coroner's report, it was 15 to 20 minutes before Marianne and Kenny even told them Mackenzie was in that house.
Come on, think of another lie.
That goes back to David Dye, who the one that made the remark that Mackenzie wasn't supposed to be in that. You see what I'm saying? But I'm going by what the coroner asked people that was at the scene, and he asked people like the firemen and all that. He describes her clothes in the report, Dr. Gay does. And in this report, he also says that the clothes were wet. He did not say they were singed. He did not say they were water damaged. He said they were wet. And when I talked to Ron Steeman, me and him to the same conclusion. We know we don't have the clothes now. We know they're destroyed. But could that wet been a settlement?
Amen.
Could that wetness been her pee?
Amen.
That wet, you see where I'm going? You know what I'm saying? Without those clues, we'll never know that, right?
Amen.
Right.
So, like I said, my main thing is I would like for you to see this report. I would like to...
Well, I'm very interested to see what it says, yes.
Yes. And like I said, if you want the truth, you know, because I know what you just said and I understand what you're saying, we can get that. We can do that.
Okay.
But the problem of it is, like me and Ron Steeman talk, and me and Jesse, we talk. First of all, why don't you have this report?
Well, that's I don't know where the report came from or what. Obviously, you had to dig someplace and find it that we didn't know that we didn't even know it existed. Like I said, we don't.
Now, Nestor did.
Never got notes.
But Nestor did, because he said when he went to retrieve Mackenzie's files at Dr. Gay's house, the handwritten, what they call handwritten notes, that's when the coroner's at the scene, was missing. And he even asked Dr. Gay's wife, are you sure he don't have a desk drawer somewhere, a filing cabinet somewhere? But it goes back to the question too, is when, and this is a revised code 1311.4, when a coroner officer does not have an office, and I mean office like they used to have here in County that burned down and a lot of people's stuff got destroyed in that fire. When they don't have an office, everything is supposed to be filed within the common pleas court. Okay? Now, I know Dr. Gay's not here and he can't answer these questions, but they weren't. It also says in that revised code, they are not to take a case home with them, to their home. There's a reason why. The reason why you don't take something like that home is, I don't know, you don't know if Dr. Gay knows something that came over for a cookout and there's Mackenzie's folder sitting on the desk and somebody picks it up and reads it. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they're supposed to file with the common pleas court. A, that was never done. B, they're on May 31st, 2006 was the last thing filed in Mackenzie's reports. Now, the clothes were destroyed in August of 2006. That wasn't there. This report wasn't put in there. So, do you understand why I have red flags and why I'm doing what I'm doing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we don't keep or have access to the coroner's records. Those are his records.
Right.
So, you know, we don't really know.
They don't have the coroner's record, but the coroner said he don't have nothing because of the Fayette County Sheriff's Office.
Whenever they do that, but that's their thing, not ours.
Oh.
So yeah, I'll give you a call back. I don't know what I got going on tomorrow. I know I got a trial on Thursdays. Have to get ready for tomorrow. So
that's fine. It's not going though. Not like I'm going to lose it. Trust me.
Oh yeah. But I'll try to get them as soon as I can. I want to get them as soon as I can, take a look at them, see what they say and things like that.
The other thing too is, have you found the tape recorders yet?
Nope.
Pardon me?
My 2 tape recorders.
Nope.
Oh, I haven't got to those yet. The tape recordings you want, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you do like DCI did. You can take the original tapes, burn them on a CD, and then give me my original back.
Right. Yep.
But I want to know if they're still there. My next question, if you don't care to answer it, is...
Bear with me. It sounds like I'm on speaker hear?
I'm in my garage.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't kids to hear, you know what I'm saying, my conversations.
Okay.
My question is, do y'all still have the ladder?
The lighter?
Ladder.
Ladder, no.
Told you. He said,
Why wasn't that
you
help?
see.
I can't tell you that. I don't know.
Woo, they lie as bad as Mary Ann does.
Right, I know this is hard.
I know. We've been through this before. There's things that happen that I can't answer.
Right.
We're never going to have answer.
Right, I know I know that. I know you came after Detective Brown died. I've never accused you. Have I ever said, Ryan McFarland, you're a crook. You're the one, you're stuff. I never said that, have I?
But
Right.
I'm just saying that if I could answer that stuff for you, I would, but I can't. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know why I keep the ladder. I don't know.
Because here's the thing, you know that was part of the crime scene too, because Kenny made a statement that he used that ladder.
Mm-hmm. He said that he used it, yeah.
Right.
But then again, he recanted and said that he didn't give up the ladder to get her out.
Right.
You know, he didn't try to get her out like he said.
Right.
So.
All right. When can you find out about the tape record?
How about give me till the first of next week?
And that never happened. Still today.
And you got my cell phone number, obviously.
Yeah.
When you're ready, I want you can come, and I'm not going to be at the annex building. You can meet me at my home. And you can pick up a copy of this report. I will give you a name the report came from and how I know why this is a true report. And while you're here, if you don't care, make sure you got enough time. I just want to show you some things I have that might give you a little more better of a point of view of where to look.
Okay.
If you don't care. I mean, that's just respect for me.
Yep, that's fine.
I mean, obviously, you know I have nothing to hide.
Right.
And obviously, I'm not afraid to go toe and toe with anybody. This is about my baby. This is about Mackenzie.
I understand.
It's nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. It has to do with a little child that died a horrible death, and somebody needs to answer for that death.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that.
No, you're not. You're not with me on 100%.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Like I said, I got it. I read a little bit, but I'd rather put it in your hands. That way you know that I put it in your hands and no one can't say I didn't give it to you.
Right. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Yep. All right. There you guys go. And in the one tape I played earlier for you guys, he said he didn't know nothing about a ladder. He never told me that there was ladder in evidence. He knows there was no ladder in the evidence room, blah, blah. But then he just said it. Right there, he just said. He told the whole story about the ladder. And he don't know why it's not in there. And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys, man. And then you heard Dr. Metzger say, they're telling me it's an ongoing investigation. I ain't allowed to have none of this stuff. But then you just heard him say that, well, those are Dr. Metzger's notes and we're not allowed. Come on, man. Are you guys kidding me? I know. Please tell me everybody's hearing what I'm hearing. Please tell me you guys heard everything I just heard. Sorry, Steve, don't smoke. I smoke, and there's a reason I smoke. Because I live in a fucking town that, I don't know. I give up, man. I give up. Like I said, you guys are hearing it. You guys are hearing them. You know who I'm talking to. You know the dates. You hear what they're saying to me. You hear them pause. You hear them think. But just like about the truck, he tried to make an excuse for the mom and boyfriend that they came to the fire. And then I blew it all out of proportion when I said, really? They went out to eat? Half naked? Yeah, right. These are the ones investigating my daughter's homicide. These are the ones. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why I'm fighting for justice. And the thing of it is, I'm not only fighting for justice for my little girl. I am fighting for justice for everyone out there to show you, man. You know, you got to think about it. If they screwed up this bad on my daughter's case, how many more cases did they screw up on? How many more deaths are actually homicide and not accidental? I've seen some people on here talking about the GoFundMe and the PayPal. We are trying to get a PayPal up. Now, I do know for a fact that when the GoFundMe for Mackenzie Taylor Branham, I know, like, if you donate $50, they get $2.15 of that $50. I do know that is how, because most people have donated $50, and it comes across my email, and it says that they get $2, and I think it's $2.15. I don't know about the PayPal, how much they get or whatever, but I appreciate anything and everything anybody sends, because this is what lets me get the documents I get. This is what makes me go out here and make copies and blow up pictures for you guys. You know, it's sad that I can't get a lawyer to touch this. And you got to understand that part about the lawyer. A lot of lawyers, and you got to think about it. For somebody to take this case, they got to be a lawyer that is very well known, that is very, has dealt with this kind of corruption. And a lawyer's not going to do it if they think that there could be a backfire. I had a hell of a lawyer in the beginning of this, and I wish I could have him talk to you guys. He's up there in his age. But he called me, and he said, look, man, Mr. Branham, you're right. There is a lot of things wrong in that town. They ran me out of your town. I can't help you with this case. I wish I could. All I can tell you is that is the crookedest town I've ever in my entire life dealt with. And this is the truth. My wife will vouch for this. We were knocking on doors. We were talking to Mary Ann's family. We had their statements, everything. And all of a sudden, my lawyer gets ran out of this town. Literally ran out. So, this is something I know in my heart. And I know that this is what my daughter will want me to do. And that is to fight this the way I'm fighting it. To get more people involved. To get things out there. Like I said, I've got some people meeting with me Friday, man. We're going to go through this case files. We're going to see, because there is so much that I have found. There is so much that I have done. And it's overwhelming for just one person to deal with. So I've got some people that's going to help me. And I'm going to put a real, what they call, remember what they call the think tank? They put this think tank together to think about. Here's the thing. You can put anything together. You can put 25 guys in a room. You can put 100 detectives in the room. But if you ain't showing them everything, they're going to come back with the same answer. Man, there's a lot still to do with this case. That's the whole thing. You can put 100 guys, 100 detectives. But if Vernon Stanford's only giving them what he wants to give them, they're going to be lost on this case. Hell, anybody would be lost on this case. There's times I've gotten lost on this case. The whole time I had that conversation with the coroner about the sexual assault on my daughter, I played that tape probably 20 times. And I missed that whole part because I heard other parts of the tape, and I would start investigating and working on that part of the tape. And while I'm doing that, and my mind's set on what I just heard, the tape's still playing, and I missed, the other stuff. And there's a lot of y'all that's been following this story for a couple years now. And you heard it for the first time the night I did. I literally lost it. I literally broke down and bawled my eyes out. I knew in the back of my mind that there was something to do with my daughter. I felt it, but I didn't have the evidence to produce to you guys. And I wouldn't say that my daughter was raped. And anybody that's been with me for years knows I would never say my daughter was raped until I got that evidence. And once I got that evidence, I let everybody know that she was raped. And But that's the main thing. If you keep hearing all these tapes, man, it's always about the fire. It's nothing about the DNA and nothing about the rape. They don't want to discuss that at all with me. They totally block that out every time. And the reason why, that DNA is what's going to put away these people. They know that as soon as that person is. And that's why I believe in my heart, they already know who it is. They already know who raped my daughter. And the fire marshal is stuck because he can't finish the arson part because he's got to have the crime. He's got to have the motive to why the fire was set. This is yes, Alicia, they can. But, you know, that's hard right now. I want it to be when my boys want to do it. I don't want them to tell them, you know, go file charges. When they're comfortable and they're ready to do it, then I'm all for that. I'm all for when my boys are ready. They know I'm fighting this for their sister. They know that they can make some things happen. But what my boys have been through, I'm not going to force them or push them to do it. When they're comfortable and ready to tell their story, then I'll allow them to tell their story. And I'm sorry, yeah, you're right, Lauren. But you already seen what the process. Every one of them don't even remember what they say to me, and they get caught in it. Like I said, just about the ladder. Now there's the evidence right there, man. They knew there was a ladder. They knew it went to the evidence room. They just don't know who took it out of the room. Or they might know who took it out of the room, but they ain't going to say it. And that's the reason. This is the whole reason I'm doing what I'm doing. This is the whole reason I'm fighting this as hard as I can fight it. You know, but I'm against a town that don't care. And that's the thing. Like I said on my Facebook page, 22,000 people live in Fayette County. Only 100 support Mackenzie. Why? I guarantee you 22,000 people was at that sheriff's office. I guarantee you shit would happen. I guarantee you they would make things happen. Vernon knows this. Vernon knows when I'm up there, I have protested. I'm going to say probably, Sean, Sarah, you guys, I probably protested 6 times. I have gone to that sheriff's office. I have sat up there until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And maybe 20 people come up there and protest with me. 20 people. And Vernon looks at that like, that's just a small, little tiny portion of this community. There ain't nobody gonna give a damn that he's sitting up on that sidewalk. And I go up there every time. I have protested in almost 100 degrees weather. Yes, people brought me water. Yes, people brought me food. But I only had a small portion sitting up there protesting with me. And Vernon don't care. He don't care. It's a small portion of this community. When you look at a community of 22,000 people and you only see 20 standing on a sidewalk, they don't care. Yeah, he don't show up for work when I'm up there. That's true. So, you know, it's almost 10 o'clock for us. And like I said, you know, I love every one of you guys. I saw that my numbers were higher tonight, which is, that's a positive thing. It was over, I think it made it up to about 107, 110, something like that. And I see that there's still 50 people on here. And that means a lot to me. But I think I have proven who's involved in this. I think I have proven that stuff is lost, stuff is missing, stuff was destroyed. I have proven cover-up. I have proven everything I can prove. But I'm not going to stop, because every day I find something new. And every day I share it with this community. You know, I'm sorry, but if I lived in a small community and I knew that there was a rapist out there and a murderer and an arsonist, I'd be scared. I would want that person caught immediately. And when I see that the justice system is failing my child, then I have a problem too with that. You know, like I said, man, you know, anybody that wants to help, I appreciate it. There's a GoFundMe. I want to say, let me see here. Teresa, thank you for the card and the money. I will get your bracelets out. I do have bracelets that say Mackenzie's Army, and they also say Justice for Mackenzie. They got a butterfly and a heart on them. They're purple and yellow. I've got probably 400 of them now. They're $2. That helps with my fees and stuff too, to move forward with this case. I have posters. I'm going to figure out a way to get the posters to everybody. I've got some other things that I got to do in Columbus. I got some stuff I want to do down in Tennessee. All I'm asking for, you know, is a little bit of help. All I'm asking for is that you guys share this video, get it out there. Please don't take anything offended when I was talking about the difference between a woman and a man fighting for justice for their child. I don't mean it in no mean way, because there's a lot of moms out there that, man, you're awesome moms. I read everybody's comments to what the mother made her remark to why she didn't save Mackenzie. And it touched me, every one of you guys, with your stories of how you would have saved your daughter. Yeah, Sean, I'll get you some posters over to you. Mine's hanging on my front door. I figured that any law enforcement comes in the door, that's the first thing they're going to see is my daughter's reward poster on the wall. There is a $10,000 reward for any information. If you do have any information, I would contact the fire marshal or contact me. I wouldn't contact the sheriff's office, because obviously we know nothing's going to happen. Patrick McNeil, thank you. I saw you on here tonight. Hold on, you guys. I want to plug in my phone. It's going dead, and I don't want to die before I'm done. Thank you so much for you coming out and saying what you said. Patrick McNeil he's on the sheriff report. He's actually on the sheriff report as a 911 caller. And still today, 13 years, they have never talked to this man. And he's contacted the sheriff's office. He's given me his address, phone number, everything, and I've turned that over to the sheriff's office, including all the other witnesses. And never have they been contacted by Fayette County Sheriff's Office at all. But every day, they will say, this is an ongoing investigation. We're working on it every day. Y'all know this is a lie. You guys have heard it. You know the truth behind it. I have nothing to hide. And like I said, I think I proved enough that the boyfriend is a suspect, is a person of interest, and so is the mother. But more the boyfriend, because there is a rape of a child. We do have evidence that shows that he's abused all kinds of children that were not his child. These kids that he abused were never his kids. I'll get it to you, Anthony, bud. Sonia, liars. Oh, I hope you're calling them liars, not me. So, like I said, you guys, I mean, man, I appreciate everybody that's going to help me, too. I seen somebody tonight saying there's some people that's going to message me. I don't answer messages during my live feed because when you message me, if I click on it, it actually shuts down my live feed. And I don't want to lose the people I got in there and have to start all back over again. Like I said, it's nothing about me being a father or a male. I'm human. I'm a human being. And I breathe and I feel the same pain everybody else does. I cry at night, and I'm not ashamed to tell you I cry. I'm not ashamed to tell you I hurt over this every day. I'm not ashamed that my health has gone down because of this. My daughter put her story in my hands. My daughter trusted me to tell her story. My daughter comes to me and points me every direction and brings everybody into my heart. And that's why it is what it is. And I thank everybody out there that has helped, everybody out there that's put the time in, everybody that has found things for me and got it to me. I don't know how else to say it, but thank you from my heart. And I know my daughter, Mackenzie, thanks everybody too. And my family thanks everybody too. This has been a very hard 13 years. You know, me and my wife got married after my divorce with the ex. But we got together in December of 2005. And my daughter was murdered in 2006. And my wife has lived 13 years of me trying to find out who killed and raped my little girl. We have never been on a honeymoon. We have never been on vacation other than our local zoo and Kings Island. We have never done anything. I have worked on nothing but this case. And it's not fair to my wife. It's not fair to my kids. It's not fair to my younger kids that want their dad. But, you know, I have to deal with the ignorance of Fayette County. And to sit there and call me, like the sheriff called me, a disgruntled father. And just like these ones here saying, you know, I understand why you're frustrated, you know, and just like the other detectives saying, don't dwell on this. It's just going to piss you off more. You all are the reason I'm pissed. Y'all are the reason I'm what I am. But I can say one thing. I've learned from this. I've gotten smarter with this. And now I can actually be an advocate for any male or female of any kind of a homicide case. I am there for anybody at any time of the night. I've had people send me messages. I've had people tell me, and that's another thing. I've had people tell me their story, and it doesn't upset me. I know people write it, well, I just wanted to tell you, you know, I don't want to, you know, I just wanted to. Let me tell you something. I love your guys' stories. I love it to be able to hear somebody else's story, and because it takes me away from my daughter for just that few minutes to literally listen to somebody else's story and what they've been through. So if you got a story and you want to tell me, don't be ashamed to tell me. I love listening to other people, and I love to be there to help you in any way I can. I love to be there to tell you or direct you the right way to the right people, because I've been there. I know it. I've lived it, and I wish nobody what I've been through on any enemy of mine. I would never give somebody my shoes. But even though something that you think is small problem to Mackenzie, it's not. I've said this before. Trust me, there's other children out there that have been murdered way worse than my little girl. Their stories are way worse than my little girl's. But the difference with me is I'm fighting for justice, and I'm telling my daughter's story. I'm out here trying to give the knowledge to other people. I'm out here to show people that our children are our lives. You know, I mean, I had, like I said, the greatest thing in the world. When I first started this, and then this is true, when I first started this, it was all women on my live feeds for the first probably 6 months. And then all of a sudden, more men got involved. And I'm glad of that. That's what I want. I want more men involved. You know, I want more men to express that, hey, we're dads too. We're parents too. We can love our children just as much as the mother can love that child. And it was funny because I had a yard sale. And people came up here to my yard sale, and they were telling me about how they're sitting at home, and all of a sudden it's their husband jumps up. Oh my God, Donald's live, and run in there and give the phone to their wives. And I thought, oh my God, that's great. That's awesome, and because it should be everybody. It like I said, it takes two parents to make a child. It takes two to make that child. And I feel sometimes in some cases, not all cases, if the justice system and the court system stayed out of it, parents would get along a lot better and raise their child together but separated. And I'm not saying that in a bad way because, like I said, there's bad dads out there don't pay a dime for their kid. And there's moms out there that don't pay a dime for their kids neither. There's moms out there that will, in a split second, take their child and put it in a dumpster, put it in a dryer, put it in a car seat and drive it right into the water. Hi, how are you? Hi, yeah. Sometimes I get people that come by my house, too, to check on my live feeds. I love that. And hi to the mother, because I know you're watching, or one of your friends are watching. So hi, how are you? I'm coming to get you. Trust me, you're going down. You will see the jail cells. So, I just, like I said, this is about Mackenzie. This is about people realizing that we can make a difference in this world. And that we can, and that we're done. We're tired of look at the shows today. I'm going to do this upside down. Maybe I can. You can't turn your phone while live. Oh, okay. I can't turn my phone while I'm live. All right. But one of the things I do, like I said, look at all on TV. Man, you see so much on TV now of cold case shows. Unsolved mysteries, unsolved murders. And 99% of the time, and this is the truth, 99% of the time, the answer's right there. It's people that don't want to take the time. They overlook stuff. Or they got so much on their plate and they're trying to deal with 5 cases instead of 1 case. And they overlook. A lot of times, if you look at these shows, a lot of times, a person will come in, pick up that cold case file, and boom. Within a couple months, they solve it. And the whole time, that person had been looked at, or had been talked to, or is there. Every day, DNA and all that stuff goes up more and more and more and more. Yeah, Steve. The detectives need 3 days of sleep. I like that. So they, you got me now confused with what I was going to say. But thank you for the smile. I needed a good laugh. Like I said, I'm going to keep on going. I got plenty more to share. There's still, as you can see my board up there, there's still more people that I haven't yet played their video. I have other tapes that I've just got burned down now to USB drives. There's still some tapes I got to pick up and do the same thing. I got another person that's fixing a tape that was broke. So, good idea. I'll make one tomorrow. Well, I don't know what they all. All right. Another thing too. I'm gonna post another. Alicia did a very special thing for my daughter, and a lot of the states in the United States, a lot of the countries have put up a postcard saying that Mackenzie has touched them, and her story in that state or in that country. And I would like to get all 50 states. I would like to get all 50 states involved I will post it again. What states have already have, you know, recognized Mackenzie and support Mackenzie, and anybody else can take a picture, write whatever you want on a postcard, and post it. I will put it into that photograph. You know what I'm talking about. I'm tired. But I'm going to put it in there, and then I'm going to make a video with the song showing all the states and the cards that people wrote saying they support Mackenzie. So tomorrow, if you give me tomorrow, probably around about noonish, I will post those again of all the states. There's 29 or 30 now of where they, slideshow. Okay, Kim, thank you. My wife, sometimes she helps me with my vocabulary, and some of the other ones on there do too. But I want to get all 50 states. I don't care if there's 3 or 4 from the same Tennessee state or, you know, Indiana or whatever. Just take a postcard or a piece of paper, write a message to Mackenzie, or you can go ahead and do it. Take a picture of it, send it to me on Facebook and on Messenger, and then I can take it from there and add it to the other photographs. And I just want to get it out there. I want Mackenzie to know that she is loved and everything. Her birthday is in May. Her anniversary of her death in April. I'll be doing something in April and May. Last year it was wonderful. Kelly and John, Sarah and them from Florida, some other people from Indiana, Georgia. They all did a balloon launch at the same time I did a balloon launch. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. They videoed it and then shared it with me, and I was able to share it with everybody. And anytime any of y'all want to, while I'm on my live feeds, that you want to come into my live feed, I don't know how you do it. Some people know it's something to do with a green thing at the bottom of your screen. You can click on that. I can bring you actually into the live feed. People can see you talking to me as well as I'm talking to everybody else. Anybody's more than welcome to do that. Like I said, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I always play a song at the end for my daughter. And I always ask for everybody to pump hearts, because the hearts, my daughter sees them. She knows that everybody cares and loves her. So if you can pump hearts for my little girl, we'll play another song for her. And
When it seems like I am done, when it looks like there's no way, and the lies come like a flood, oh, I know my God. So I set my eyes on love, and I realign my heart where my help comes from. I trust, 'cause I know my God. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I know my God, and He will save. I know my God will not delay. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, what a Savior. I know my God will hold me up, 'cause He's my rock, and I will trust. I know my God, I know what a Savior. He's a shepherd and a king, Lord of everything I see. Began
All right, thank you guys. Like I said, I got all rights to the songs that I play. I actually wrote this gentleman, and got permission to use any of his songs in any videos for my daughter. Um, he also, his songs was in the movie Fireproof. Any of y'all know that movie? Very good movie. Um, and I also, John Wallace is his name. I also got permission from Jen Bostic, and all her songs. I can use any of her songs in my videos. Facebook knows this now, that I have actual copyright permission to use these songs in my daughter's video. That was very nice of both of them. I have wrote some other singers. To see, if it's all right to use their songs for my daughter's videos. I'm still waiting on some of their answers, but I did get John Wallace and Jen Bostic. They both gave me permission and to play any of their songs in my daughter's videos. And I love, like I said, their music and stuff. He's got a lot of good songs out there. It's him, his wife. I think they've got, I want to say 17, 18 kids. Most of them were adopted. So he's a great singer. Christian is what he does, Christian music, and he's awesome. Jen Bostic, she's great too. So I have permission from them. Thank God that, God brought those two into my life. And they actually talked to me on my Facebook page and gave me permission for stuff. Like I said, all this is about is my daughter Mackenzie. This is what it's about, is Mackenzie, and that's what matters. So thank you guys. I love every single one of you that were on here tonight. God bless you all. Please do me a favor. I haven't lately done this, but when you're done with my live feed, kiss your grandchildren, kiss your child, kiss your wife, kiss your husband. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Kiss them. Tell them you love them. The easiest prayer that everybody knows is, "Now you lay me down to sleep." That was Mackenzie's favorite prayer. It's on her headstone. Take time out. Gather your kids up before they go to bed and say that prayer. That was a prayer that used to be said all the time. When I grew up, everyone knew that prayer about, "Now you lay me down to sleep." And because tomorrow, you don't know what it's going to bring. And you want that opportunity to have that last kiss, that last "I love you," that last hug, that last comfort, and saying the prayers with your children. Get down on your knees right beside them at their bed. Say the prayers with them. My wife always tells my kids that she loves them. She always gives them a kiss. Then sometimes she yells at them, and I do too, because they don't go to bed to get up and go to school. But spend as much time as you can. I shared 8 years with Mackenzie. 8 wonderful years. This kid said her prayers with me every night. This kid would come in from school and say, "Dad, put some music on, let's dance." And we'd dance. And she was all about church. I mean, that kid didn't miss no church. That kid didn't miss Sunday Bible school, whatever it is, during the summertime. I have so many wonderful gifts that my daughter in that 8 years made, brought home, gave to me. She put her handprint, wrote her name on a washcloth. I still have that. I shared that on Facebook. I have her birth certificate. I have her footprints. I have a lot of stuff from my daughter, because I was one of these dads that I was going to fight tooth and nail to have custody of my daughter. And I had custody of all 3 of them, and I got to enjoy those years. With my boys, same thing. I've got all their school awards. I've got everything they've made for Christmas. And my boys now moved out. They live on their own, but I can go into a tote and I can read stuff they made when they were in 1st grade, 2nd grade. And I have that stuff. She has nothing. Zero. The only thing that woman's got is the stuff she took out of that house, that's in that hope chest at her house, that she took out and removed before my daughter was murdered. That's all that woman's got. I have everything. I have all my daughter's poems. I can sit down and read every poem my little girl wrote. I have all that stuff. And I'm grateful that God let me share 8 wonderful years with Mackenzie. 8 wonderful years. I miss her. It hurts that she's not here. It sucks when holidays come. It sucks when it's her birthday. But I can say one thing today that I know for a fact. My daughter is safe. My daughter is protected. And my daughter is no more in pain. And I know one day I will get to see her again. I will get to hold my little girl again. And I'll get to enjoy the rest of that eternity life with her. So with that said, I love everybody. Y'all have a good night.